Sellout crowd, a beautiful afternoon at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. The Redskins and the Eagles, each at 2-3, getting together for the first time in their two meetings during this 95-year. Norv Turner, his team, certainly believing it perhaps has turned the corner after that win last week over the Dallas Cowboys. Ray Rhodes, and this is his first year for the Philadelphia Eagles. Spent last year, of course, as the defensive coordinator of the world champion 49ers. Philadelphia's won the toss, selected to receive. Charlie Garner, number 30, Kelvin Martin, number 84, awaiting the Eddie Murray kick, and we're underway. It's Martin from the goal line. Tripped up, hammered it to 16. William Bell delivering that blow on Martin, and that's where the Philadelphia offense will put it in play. Rodney Peete, the seventh-year pro out of USC, started last week and led the Eagles to the 15-10 win over New Orleans. Up front, it'll be Brooks, the rookie, at left tackle. We'll keep an eye on him today. The longtime Redskin, Raleigh McKenzie. Waters and McCrary in the backfield. Terrific pair of receivers in Barnett and Williams. The longtime Packer, Ed West, the tight end. First and 10 from the 17, and Pete out to throw. Delivers on the money to Fred Barnett. And he's close to a Philadelphia first down, out to the 26. The stop made by Ken Harvey. Defensively for Washington. Gaines in place of the injured Tim Johnson up front. Very solid linebacking core. Patton from Buffalo, Stevens, Seattle, and Harvey, an all-pro a season ago. And in the defensive backfield, Green and Carter, the corners. Richard and Taylor in place of the injured James Washington at strong safety. Second and 1. Waters. And he's pushed out of bounds. Good enough for a first down. Darrell Green able to track him down. So Philadelphia 2 plays and a first down.
Yeah, you know, we talked about this West Coast offense, and we'll get more into what it does, what it means, how it works later on. But that man we just saw right there, Waters, he is going to be key in this thing. Rhodes does not have all the components to run the West Coast like he wants to, so he's still got to rely a little bit on that run. And that's what we said in the open. Which Ricky Waters are we going to see?
Well, Waters paid the big money coming over from the Super Bowl champion 49ers. Rushed for 79 yards last week in the win over New Orleans. Pete again, a short drop near side, right on the money as he guns it in there to Fred Barnett.
You know, just talking a little bit what these two teams are going to have to do today, and what you'll see, first of all, for the Eagles, execute the offense. And by that, we're talking about this offense is built on timing, positioning, and discipline. That'll be key. Special teams, they're going to have to stop a team that's number one in kickoff return and punt returns. That really means Brian Mitchell. On the other side for the Redskins, multiple defensive fronts. They'll see 8-man fronts and use some blitzing to try to throw off the timing. And own the trenches like we talked about in the top. They got to dominate down there like they've done the last few weeks.
Wainwright, a second tight end in motion after a gain of 12. Waters to the near side, and he is shoved out of bounds by Tom Carter. And a very good start for Ricky Waters, a two-time Pro Bowler.
You know, Tom, I call this offense the 1-2-3 swing. The reads are going to be right here, the tight end here, and if he doesn't see what he wants, then he's going to go to the outlet, which was Ricky Waters in that case. It's all on timing. And, you know, 3 seconds, by the time he's dropped back, if he doesn't get rid of the ball, usually something bad happens. They want to get that ball out of the quarterback's hands within 3 seconds.
Gain of 5, second and 5. Charlie Garner checks in for the first time, breaks it to the outside. He's inside the 30 and could go. One man to beat. Touchdown, Philadelphia. No flags on the play. Charlie Garner, a 55-yard run.
Guy McIntyre, the guard, he's going to come out and pull. The problem here is that everybody crashes down inside. Darrell Green does not keep outside leverage and the play bounces. Darrell Green, the corner, he's going to come up. Watch McIntyre seal right there. And that's the block by Waters on the corner, and that's funny.
Gary Anderson tacks on the extra point. The longest touchdown run by a Philadelphia Eagle this season. Garner has given Philly a 7-0 lead here in the opening quarter.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Chrysler and the all-new Chrysler Town & Country minivan, the ultimate. By the NASDAQ Stock Market, the stock market for the next 100 years. And by Pizza Hut, home of stuffed crust pizza.
Get a look at Independence Hall here in Philadelphia. And the Eagles jump out in front 7-0, going 83 yards in 5 plays. And Charlie Garner, a career-long 55-yard touchdown run. So now the Eagles will kick it off. And waiting back for the Gary Anderson kick, the most dangerous return man perhaps in the NFL, and Brian Mitchell. And it's Mitchell from the 7. Watch out. And he's up to midfield. Brian Mitchell wrestled down by Rob Carpenter. We mentioned the fact that Mitchell has the 2 longest kickoff returns in the NFC this season. That one 42 yards.
Going back to the touchdown now, here's Waters right here. I want you to watch the block he makes on Darrell Green. You know, you talk about a guy that's brought here, paid a lot of money to run the football, make an impact. Well, that's an impact right there. That block is key. Actually, he takes out 2 people. He gets the sheriff, Stanley Richard, coming over on the outside.
Redskins, their first play from scrimmage, dropped in the backfield is Allen. And William Thomas came up from his linebacking spot to make the stop.
You know, it's funny, talking to Ray Brown last night, he said he wasn't sure that a lot of the guys on the team, the younger guys, understand what this rivalry is about. You know, it was a big game last week with Dallas, no doubt, but this is a whole different story when you come in the Veterans Stadium here and play Philadelphia. And he wasn't sure that not everybody understood that.
Loss of a yard, 2nd and 11 for the Redskins. Back to the ground, and again it's Allen, the 3rd leading rusher in the NFL, and not much room against this Philadelphia defense. Romanowski, the first man to meet him. Gus Frerotte, the 197th pick in the draft last year. And he is starting his 5th game this season. What a line up front, the way they played. Giesick in the middle, Simmons and Patton the tackles, with Johnson back in the lineup. He returned last week. Allen and Logan in the backfield. Ellard, the rookie. Westbrook out of Colorado, the wideouts. And Galbraith is the tight end. Gain of 2, 3rd and 9 for Washington. Pitch inside to Mitchell, and he's to the Philadelphia 44. So 3 and out for the Washington offense.
You know, talking to Norv yesterday, he said, hey, the thing we want to do is run the football. Why wouldn't you after last week's performance? But I got to believe that with the score 7-0 now, Norv is going to give it one more series. If they don't do anything, he's going to start putting that ball in the air. Offensive coaches tend to be a little bit impatient. And in this situation, I think he's going to start getting impatient.
Kelvin Martin, number 1 in the NFC in punt return average, at a little better than 14 for a return. He signals for a fair catch out at the 14. And Philadelphia will take over for the 2nd time. Charlie Garner, a 55-yard touchdown run on the Eagles' first possession, and Philadelphia leads 7-0.
You see the defensive line there. I tell you what, you know, we talked about the injuries they had up front. Stubbs, he's in because Fuller couldn't go. Harmon, he's nicked up. Dixon, he's in for Gunn. A lot of speculation on how these guys would play.
7-0 Philadelphia in front. And the Eagles bring 3 wideouts into the game. Martin in motion on the 1st and 10. Philadelphia at its own 14. And again, a short drop. Williams a reception. And it appears as though early in the game they're going after Tom Carter. He injured the hamstring against the Raiders early in the season, still not at 100%.
No, he's not at 100%. I talked to Tom Hayes, the defensive back coach, and he says, yeah, he's not, but he's just going to try to give it a go. Remember, Philadelphia knows there's a bad hamstring out there, and they're going to work on him underneath, and they're going to try to take him up top and test that hamstring soon. But they're just trying to work on his patience now with these underneath routes.
Gain of 7, 2nd and 3 for the Eagles at their own 22. And again, Pete, a short drop in trouble, and the ball is loose.
Now, his arm's in motion.
Well, now they're saying Washington football. Mark Boutte.
We'll have to look at it.
Well, Boutte grabbed a hold of Rodney Peete. The ball came squirting loose.
It looked as though he just took the ball out of his hand while he was standing there set ready to throw. Let's take a look at Peete here. Boutte coming up the middle. Nice swat move.
Looked like the left hand just knocked it right out of Pete's right hand.
His arm's coming in motion, and then Boutte looks like he double clutched and decided, I don't want to make the throw. Therefore, his arm is out of motion, stopped, and then he rips the ball out. So that's why it's given over to the Redskins.
Oh, the fumble, 1st and 10 for the Redskins at the Eagle 18. And the give is to Terry Allen, and not much room. The former Redskin, Kurt Gouveia. He spent 8 years wearing a Washington uniform, came up to make the tackle.
See, once again, you talk about the turnovers. Now, last week, Redskins had 3 turnovers. They didn't lose the ball. I mean, they gave it up 3 times. They didn't lose the ball, okay? This is key. You need turnovers down in your own red area. Now, these are the little things that's got everybody here in Philadelphia really upset with the team.
Allen and Mitchell in the backfield. And here comes the reverse the other way to Leslie Shepard. He has some room, and he's pushed out of bounds at the 15. Not much of a gain. It took a long time getting together. So it'll bring up 3rd down as Thomas able to push him out of bounds. Philadelphia defensively, as Ron mentioned a moment ago, the number 1 pick Mamula, but Gunn has been lifted in favor of Ronnie Dixon. And also Fuller is inactive today. Daniel Stubbs plays up front. You see Thomas, Gouveia, and Romanowski, the linebackers. Taylor, his 2nd NFL start. Joining McMillan on the corners, Jackson and Zordich, the safety.
Really, it's amazing. The only healthy guy they have, the real rusher they have, has been Mamula, the rookie. There's so many changes up front, so many people nicked up, they've had to rely on him.
3rd down and 6 for the Redskins. And now the play blown dead. And a late penalty flag comes in.
Delay of game.
Delay of game against the Redskins.
See, that's a big-time mental error on the part of the Redskins coaching staff. You're sitting down here, 3rd and 6. You're in field goal position. All right, and then they still are, but it's going to be a tougher kick, obviously.
Well, they move him back 5, and rather than 3rd and 6, it now goes to 3rd and 11. They have to get to the Philadelphia 8 for a 1st down.
They're trying to make those changes, get those substitutions in, and they were a little late.
3 receivers set. Mitchell, the lone setback. And Farrat to throw. Dangerous throw, and it's broken up. Terrific coverage by Bobby Taylor, the rookie out of Notre Dame. He made his first start last week against New Orleans, taking over for Derek Frazier.
Yeah, and a lot of controversies gone on about that young man there. Didn't know if he could tackle real well. He really came out early from college, from Notre Dame. They knew they would try to throw at him, and they have. Really, Gus Farrat's got to throw that ball away. That's a coverage sack. He tried to fit that thing in there. He's had a bad habit of doing that a couple times here since he started. He got away with it that time, but he's not going to be so lucky in the future.
Eddie Murray on for a 36-yard field goal try out of the hold of Gus Farrat, and Murray, the former Eagle, bangs it through. And Washington on the board. So the Philadelphia turnover leads to a Redskin field goal at 7-3 in the 1st. Rodney Peete in the Philadelphia offense about to get the football back. Washington, a field goal from Eddie Murray. And it's 7-3 Eagles here in the 1st quarter. You see, after the turnover, Washington actually lost a yard thanks to a delay of game penalty, but Murray gets them on the board. What a great rivalry this is, Ron, in the NFC East.
Well, you know, you talk about this thing here, and people want to know why it is. That big play by Garner. You know, you come in here, and supposedly Philadelphia's having all this trouble moving the ball down the field. One big play can change a game like this in an instant. And now North Turner's got to think different.
Well, the ball blowing off the tee. We do have a slight breeze, about 15 miles an hour, but of course in stadiums like Veterans Stadium, the wind tends to swirl around a lot.
I think the problem is that new tee that they got there. That thing looks like a upside down saucer dish or something. The kicker's got to be a magician to hold that thing on.
Looks like something you ate off of a couple of nights ago.
Look at that. I mean, that
looks like an ashtray. Kicking it away is Eddie Murray. Martin and Garner wait, and it'll be Martin at the 3. Terrific coverage for the second time by the Redskins as Martin is met at the 15.
You know, you talk about guys that hustle down on special teams. Matt Vanderbeek, he's 6'3", 243. And I know there's some guys, look at next to William Bell, that are faster than he is. But yet, he's one of the first 2 or 3 guys down there all the time. Of course, it helps, Thom, when nobody blocks you.
Philadelphia leading 7-3. 8:12 left to play in the first quarter. On the 1st and 10, the give is for Ricky Waters, and not much room. He may have picked up a couple of yards. It'll bring up 2nd and long. Right now, for a McDonald's game break, let's return to James Brown in our Hollywood studio.
Thom, what does Dave Wannstedt want Eric Kramer as the quarterback? Take a look. Play action. He likes that arm. 41 yards to their deep threat, Curtis Conway, who was draped by Tyrone Poole. It's 7-0 Chicago. Hey, Ron Pitts, take up for the cornerback.
Oh, okay, thanks, JB. I guess I coached that guy, right? And I like Poole, too. See, JB knows that.
I know he does. Well, we had him early in the season in the opening game. Waters out close to a first down. He needed to get to the 27. And may come up a little bit shy, perhaps by a yard. Able to push him out of bounds, Tom Carter. And again, Ron, they appear to be picking on Carter here early in the game.
Yeah, but I think it's just the case that they're going to go to the outlet man in this West Coast offense. That is your swing man. That's why I said 1, 2, 3 swing. But once again, for our viewers at home, watch how long or how short of a time that Rodney Peete holds the ball. It's out of there most of the time before 3 seconds, and if he holds it any longer, it's usually a problem.
3rd and a yard for Philadelphia. 2 tight ends check in. And the give is to Waters, and he is out across the 28. Flags down on the field. So they may bring this back. It was good enough for a first down, and it's against Philadelphia holding. Jerry Mark Bryan, our referee today.
Yeah, we talked about the guys from
Holding, number 76, offense. 10-yard penalty, 3rd down.
That's Barrett Brooks now. He's going to be on your right side. He'll be 76. Yeah, there it is. Look at that. When you see that jersey stretch there, boy, I tell you what, that's a great wrestling move, isn't it?
Well, it moves them back 10 yards. So rather than 3rd and 1, it goes to 3rd and 11. The Eagles need to get to the 27 for a first down. 6 defensive backs have checked in for the Redskins. Peete, a deep drop this time. Escapes trouble for the time being and then just throws it out of bounds. Good pressure that time by the Redskins. Robert Bailey, an extra defensive back, charging in on Peete.
Yeah, but the pressure comes from the outside. Harvey, Palmer. You know, remember we talked to Ken Harvey last night, and he said that he prefers to rush on the right side. That's his best move side. But he says, I got better moves with a rip on the left side.
Well, certainly the penalty hurt Philadelphia. Going from 3rd and 1, it looked like they had picked up the first down, but now moved back 10. They have to punt it away. And Tommy Hutton angling, and it's fielded by Mitchell. And he breaks it across the 40 to the 35 to 30. This could be Mitchell's 6th punt return touchdown. It is. "59 yards for Brian Mitchell. The 6th time in his career he's returned a punt for a touchdown."
And we talked about it at the top. The problem Philly was going to have was the special teams. The best thing he does here is he picks the ball up. He doesn't let it roll. Now watch the way he runs with control. You know, what makes a good punt return man is to be able to run full speed but have control. He gets through that first wave and he's gone. Hey, how valuable has this guy become now to the Washington Redskins? And it's not just in the special teams area. Yeah, he can run the ball for you. He's a quarterback. He does it all.
Redskins lead for the first time in the game, and now on to tack on the extra point, Eddie Murray. And it's good, giving Washington a 10-7 lead. Brian Mitchell, the most dangerous return man in the NFL, has struck again.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Dr. Pepper is just what the doctor ordered.
Back in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, at Veterans Stadium, a sellout crowd, and what a wild one we have here already. Norv Turner predicted as much. Brian Mitchell, a 59-yard punt return for a touchdown, has given Washington a 10-7 lead.
And it's always the little areas, the little things that people forget about, the special teams, you know. And I can understand the concern here in Philadelphia, just trying to get the offense in order.
Eddie Murray kicks it away. 3 yards deep in his own end zone is Kevin Martin, and he'll take a knee. And Philadelphia will take the ball at its own 20.
Yeah, we go back to this punt return here. And the thing I want you to watch as we let it roll here is watch how many white shirts are all bunched up together. We can freeze it right about here. Look at all the white shirts just in this area. You know, special team coaches say, guys, don't bunch up. One grenade will kill you all. And this time the grenade is Brian Mitchell, and he does kill them all.
1st and 10 for the Eagles at their own 20. Philadelphia trailing for the first time at 10-7. Ricky Waters has to cut it back inside. Caught from behind by the former Eagle, Mike Flores. And a good pickup by Waters, close to 6. It'll bring up 2nd down.
You know, the dilemma now for Ron Lynn, the defensive coordinator for the Redskins, he knows he's facing a West Coast type of offense. So that means an extra burden because of the way they get so many people out on his linebackers. But now he can't forget about Ricky Waters. And like we said, we don't know which Ricky Waters is going to show. He definitely doesn't know. So he's got to get in that 8-man front every now and then, which hurts the pass coverage.
Waters gets a carry. He's across the 30. Good enough for a Philadelphia first down. Rod Stevens able to make the tackle.
You can't forget that the Eagles have some guys up front that have played in the league before and played well. Raleigh McKenzie, he was at Washington, and talking to him last night, he said, you know, I think they're going to try to double team me, keep me from helping out. They know my secrets, but I know some of their secrets. Guy McIntyre's next to him. Joe Panos at 300 pounds, he's on the other side. So they can move the ball inside against the Washington line that has been nicked up.
Pete throws to his tight end, Ed West. Another Philadelphia first down. Out to the 44. Ed West spent 11 years in Green Bay, was waived by Indy during camp this season.
Here's Ed West right here. He's just going to come down here and just mess around out there just a little bit. But watch the rhythm, the timing that Rodney Peete gets the ball out of there. 1, 2, 3, bam, it's gone. That's hard to defend because defense is reactionary. Right? And when you cut down that reaction time, it makes it even harder to make a play. That is why Rodney Peete's there. He understands what the offense is from. Remember in Detroit, he did some of this with the run and shoot. He has a grasp of what needs to be done.
Reverse back the other way. It's Charlie Garner with daylight. Pushed out of bounds by Darrell Green, and Charlie Garner, who had a 55-yard touchdown run earlier in the game. Another big pickup, this time at 28.
Garner right down here about him. He's going to come around and get the reverse, but I want you to watch the play by Rodney Peete coming around the block. He's going to run away from 97 Palmer here. Palmer's like, oop, see ya. Watch Peete right there. Look at that. He just gets enough of Stevens there to enable the run to go for another 15, 20 yards.
From the Redskin 32. Caught by Fred McCrary, the rookie out of Mississippi State. Gain of nearly 7 to the Washington 22-yard line.
You know, the thing that this offense does in the perimeters now, they're going to get everybody up the field. Right here, Waters is going to leak out and stop right there. I want you to watch the middle of the field. There's nobody there, one linebacker, but short in the middle of the field, everybody's out of there. That's because they got so many people running. They got to respect the threats deep into the outside.
On a 2nd and 3, the give is to Waters.
Hey,
And he is met right away. May have lost a yard by Ken Harvey.
Guess it's over. You see there, Waters, that's what Waters has got to stop. Now, he turned around and started to talk to Ed West about missing a block or something. See, he's got to stop that. Guys on the team don't like that. They see that. They feel that. That's all negative stuff. Just like yesterday we talked when Ricky doesn't get a good runoff, he pounds the ball, he pounds his fist. They don't need that. He's got to be more professional than that.
Waters lost a yard. It brings up a 3rd and 4 for the Eagles. Barnett in motion and feet to throw. Here comes a blitz. And it was tipped. And Waters tried to reach back behind him and make the one-handed play, but couldn't. So the drive stalls, although a penalty flag thrown late onto the field. And it's against Philadelphia.
Keith Taylor, there he is right there. He's sneaking up in there from the safety position, right inside. And see, he gets in that throwing lane. We talked about this thing. They want short passes. Rodney Pete's got to be able to see everybody he throws to down inside. You get in the throwing lane like that, he can't see. He's going to make a bad throw, and that's what he did.
Well, one of the best kickers in the NFL. Long-time Pittsburgh Steeler Gary Anderson spent 13 years in the Steel City. He's on for a 40-yard field goal try. He booted 5 successfully last week. Anderson right on the money. And this game with 2:32 to play in the first quarter, already 10-10. How about the start to this one?
I'll tell you, that's what they call it a rivalry,
Well, late Saturday night is about to get funny again. Beginning October 14th, nothing is sacred, and no one is safe, including Ron Pitts. Get ready to laugh because Mad TV is coming to late night Saturdays on Fox. They might go after you in that show.
My head feels like that guy's head there every now and then.
Well, you look a little like him every now and then.
Thank you. Well, I can always count on you for support.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah, you bring me up, I tell you.
Well, the Redskins and the Eagles tied at 10. And, well, whenever the Redskins are about to take a kickoff or a punt, the opposition has to worry about Brian Mitchell.
The thing they got to do, the thing that gets you in trouble when you're covering a kickoff or a punt, as we saw, against a good return man, is you can't get bunched up. They got lanes. You got to stay in your lanes. Because if the first wave misses, now you're done.
Well, Brian Mitchell, the numbers don't lie, Ron Pitts.
Yeah, like I said, we see all this, okay, and he's all that in terms of the special teams, but the guy does everything as far as running the ball down there at the bottom. That's right, running the football, and he can throw the ball, too. He's a quarterback.
On a short kick, they're trying to stay away from Mitchell. They do that successfully. William Bell looking for somewhere to go. Derek Witherspoon down on the tackle. They stayed away from Brian Mitchell that time.
Yeah, I don't blame him. And see the new rule now with the kickoff being pushed back to the 30-yard line, and that just makes it even better for a guy like Brian Mitchell. He is more of a threat now. And remember, the kickoff return, what it does is field position. Look at the field position now after a botched kickoff return. And then look at it two kickoffs ago. You see what it did? That's what it's all about, field position.
1st and 10, Washington. Play action. Block. By Andy Harmon. Harmon with 2.5 sacks on the season.
Harmon right down in here. He's just going to fight right over Trey Johnson. He gets underneath Trey's arm and just is able to get down there and make the sack. But this, once again, we talk about a line that has been nicked up. He's got a growing problem. He's not 100%. And he's working on a guy that's not 100% either, in Trey Johnson.
Johnson, an injured ankle, missed a couple of weeks. 2nd and 16, back to the ground. Allen out across the 10 to the 13.
Boy,
So it'll bring up 3rd and long for the Redskins.
I tell you what, they came back to that old counter play. You know, we talk about the counter trade. They've gotten away from that, talking to Jim Hannafin, the offensive line coach, but they're in trouble now, and they went back to something that's been good for them over the years. The thing I've noticed too, Thom, is this crowd is now in this game, okay? And that is a big, big factor here in Philadelphia, because this stadium, these people, they can get loud.
See what the Redskins have done on 3rd downs this season. It's a 3rd and 9 facing Farad. With time, throws far side through the hands of the intended receiver, Henry Ellard. It looked like a catchable ball.
Yeah, it did look like a ball, but you know, that thing is way up in the air for a long time. I mean, Henry Ellard is running a 22-yard comeback. I'm surprised if Farad even had time to throw that ball.
Matt Turk on the punt. Kelvin Martin stands back at his own 41-yard line. Washington offensively without a first down, yet it's a 10-10 game. Returnable punt. Martin from his 32. And again, terrific coverage by the Redskins. Ryan Mitchell. Well, he's there again. If not returning a punt, returning a kick, he's making a tackle.
The more you can do.
54-yard boot by Turk, and we remind you that next week it's exciting NFL doubleheader action when the San Francisco 49ers take on the Colts and the Redskins battle the Arizona Cardinals, plus other regional action. It all begins at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific. Check local listings for the game and time in your area. We will be in Arizona again for the Redskins.
Sweating.
That's all right this time of year. So Philadelphia will put it in play from its own 29-yard line. Short drop. Pete really was looking for Fred McCrary, but he was covered well by Carter.
Yeah, that's good discipline by Carter that time. You see, when they put 3 wide receivers all to one side, they're trying to use that as a disguise to pick people and really get the ball just to one man. That time, Tom Carter, he's not fooled by it and makes a pretty good play.
Well, we understand that Charlie Garner has gone back into the Philadelphia locker room with an upset stomach. Rodney Pete has hit on 7 of 10 for 59 yards. What a hit, but able to hang on Fred Barnett, and it appears good enough for a Philadelphia first down out to the 40.
See, Barnett's fired up now. He took a lot of heat last week for maybe alligator arming one ball down there in New Orleans. And that's one thing about this offense. You see Jerry Rice, you see Taylor, they go inside and they take the hits. When they make the big plays, they're able to get the ball to them and get them running, like Barnett was almost able to do that time. But the downside of it, you will get your bell rung a couple times.
Stevens did the ringing on that play. Final play of the first quarter. Waters wrestled down by Darrell Green and then finished off by Keith Taylor. So 10-10 our score, and that is the end of the first quarter here at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. Quarter number 2 when we come back. Thom Brennaman, Ron Pitts back at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. Good first quarter. A lot of excitement, big plays. Garner a 55-yard touchdown, and Mitchell the punt return.
Yeah, I'm thinking about Garner now. He goes in with an upset stomach. Maybe the first return, he had his fun, so he said, I'll see you later. I'm out of here.
Well, the Philadelphia offense trying to, really finish off a drive. They had the long run by Garner, appeared to move the ball well on the next possession, then a turnover on a fumble by Rodney Pete. But now starting from their own 45, Pete, great protection, and it's incomplete.
Yeah, Pete wants to go downtown now in the fake reverse. He's trying to go right down the middle of the field, 89 Calvin Williams. But Tom Carter, he got that hamstring in motion, and he's running on that back shoulder. Smart decision by Pete. If he tries to throw that ball, something bad's going to happen.
So it'll bring up a 3rd and 4 for the Eagles. 10-10 game just underway in the second quarter. Pete, short drop, far side. Ball comes loose. Did he have possession? Well, no signal yet, and now they're saying it's Washington football. Martin had it, and Daryl Morrison able to come down on top of it.
Tell you what, boy, this is like deja vu. I'm thinking now of the San Diego game where Seau picks the ball up and scores. Martin just going to run out to the flat. Pete gets the ball to him. He's got a chance to go for the first down, and there's a strip right there. Carter came along as he was trying to tuck the ball and turn upfield.
So another Philadelphia turnover. When we come back, it'll be Redskin football.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Porsche. There is no substitute. By Dr. Pepper in your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Dr. Pepper is just what the doctor ordered. And by Aflac, insuring over 38 million people worldwide.
The historic Liberty Bell, located in the Old City section here in Philadelphia. A 10-10 game, the Redskins and the Eagles. Philadelphia's turned it over for a second time. Washington ball near midfield. To the ground, Terry Allen tripped up by Kurt Gouveia, the former Redskin, and a pretty good gain there by Terry Allen.
Here's a turnover play ago. Now, Martin's going to get the ball turned up. Let's see if he has control of it. He does demonstrate possession. Good strip there by Carter, and that ball's fall on it right there with Morrison. That's a good strip, though. They work on that in practice all the time. And not just making the tackle, but trying to get a strip on the ball and the tackle at the same time.
Gain of 4 by Allen, 2nd and 6. Allen again, his longest carry of the day to the Philadelphia 40 and a Washington first down. Right now, let's go to Hollywood for a McDonald's game break and JB.
Thom and Ron, good run by Terry Allen. Take a look at Troy Aikman, sees the blitz and man coverage, finds Jay Novacek for the score, and it's 7-3 Dallas in the second. Let's take you back to Thom and Ron.
Well, Norv Turner and his Redskins beat the Dallas Cowboys last week at RFK when Troy Aikman was injured. But Aikman obviously back in there today. Washington, its first down of the game. Farad to throw. Looking for Henry Ellard. And it's incomplete.
Well, they take a gamble that time, and it pays off. Zordich, the strong safety, he comes in on the blitz as we see Ellard there complaining about the interference. But all that does, even though Zordich doesn't get to the quarterback, it speeds up everything 1 count. So maybe Gus throws that ball a second before he should have. Maybe he throws it a touch high. The blitz doesn't always have to get there and make a sack. Just its presence can create enough confusion.
2nd and 10. Was it intercepted? Yes. Picked off by Greg Jackson. And now they're saying it was not an interception. Very late call on the far side of the field. And Washington will get it back. Let's see what the officials will elect to do here. They're going to get together down at the 30-yard line. Very late call.
The pass was ruled incomplete. The pass hit the ground.
Well, let's take a look at it. The ball's going to come out of there on the tip. Galbraith just gets a hand up. Boy, I don't know.
Now they're saying it hit the ground. So it'll be 3rd and 10 for the Redskins at the Philadelphia 40. Farad caught by Henry Ellard. And he'll go in for the touchdown. No penalty flags on the field. Gus Farad, his 8th touchdown pass this season. For Ellard, that's his 1st of the year.
Boy, you know, you can gamble with that blitz once too often. They send Zordich, the strong safety, again. He almost gets there, but almost means you might get burned as a corner. He's right up the middle there. See, he got picked off, but notice there's nobody in the middle of the field. So if this ball is caught on you as a corner, you got big, big problems. That's just a great job of concentration and a good throw by Gus Frerotte.
Eddie Murray on to try and make it a 17-10 Washington lead. And he does. Well, here you have the Washington Redskins averaging 19 points a game. Philadelphia averaging 18. They've combined for 27. Back at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia, 17-10 Redskins. Washington on the scoring drive, getting its first down offensively in the game. 40 yards. Frerotte to Henry Ellard for the touchdown.
What goes through my mind now, I think we got to go back and take another look at that almost interception, the one that they called incomplete, because I'm not so sure that ball wasn't picked cleanly from the ground by Jackson.
Well, we'll take a look at that here in just a moment. A very short kick. Charlie Garner has come back onto the field, and he brings it out to the 27 before he's tackled by Robert Bailey. Well, let's go back. Let's take a look at that near interception.
Now, here we go. This is Jackson right there. We're going to slow it down and really see if he didn't have his hands underneath. Well, I don't know. I see ball hit the ground, and his arms are cradling on the outside. I think it's a good call. I think it's a good call. They made a good call on that one. If his hands are underneath, I think you got to give him the interception. But he's cradling, and I see ball touch the carpet.
1st and 10 from the Eagles at their own 27. Flag down on the field. And they give us to Charlie Garner, who brings it out across the 30 to the 33. But again, Jerry Markbright will tell us exactly what happened. Well, it goes against Philadelphia.
12 men on the field on the offense. 5-yard penalty.
You can't play with 12, Ron Pitts.
Well, you can play with 12. It's just illegal, that's all. Going back to the touchdown, remember, Zordich, he's right down there. He didn't get home on the blitz. Jackson runs in to his own man. He runs into Frazier, and this is what you pay the price for when you bring your strong safety. You lose a man inside. So if the corner doesn't make the tackle, you got big problems.
Well, they back him up 5. It'll be a 1st and 15. Philadelphia trailing Washington. 13:02 to play until halftime. 17-10. Batted ball incomplete. 2nd and 15.
Yeah, Gaines now, we talked about holding that ball. 3 seconds. Pete's got to get that thing out of there in this offense. He held and held and held. He was waiting for Barnett to clear inside.
Why is Rodney Peete better in this West Coast offense than Randall Cunningham?
I think coming from Detroit, a lot of half rollouts, a lot of quick passing game with that run and shoot is helping him here. Randall's more of a long arm action guy, a downtown guy. Rodney's used to thinking on quick terms like the run and shoot makes you think.
2nd and 15. They set up the screen, and Warner is unable to find the handle.
Now see here, this is where Ricky Watters has got to not get down. Okay? He's got to get himself back in the huddle, recompose himself, and say, okay, we missed that one, but I'm going to get the next one.
Well, Ricky Watters certainly didn't make any friends in Philadelphia's opening game when he short-armed a couple of passes over the middle from Randall Cunningham, later apologized to the fans. But this is not a city that it takes very long to make an enemy in. Watters stuffed by Ken Harvey, and the Eagles will have to punt it away with 12:46 to go in the 2nd quarter.
Good play by Harvey, staying at home. 3rd and 15, backed up. You got to think the draw is coming. Don't want to take a chance on giving up the ball back there in your own territory. Good play.
And you saw Watters shaking his head as he walked off the field.
That's a lot better than taking your helmet off and throwing it against the bench, which he's done at times.
Brian Mitchell returned a punt for a touchdown in the first quarter of 59 yards. They're going to try and stay away from him in a terrible kick. Sails out of bounds, and let's see where they spot this. Still racing along the sideline, and they spot it at the Washington 46-yard line. And that's what Brian Mitchell will do to you. He intimidates you so much, you try to angle away, and it's a 29-yard kick by Thom Hutton. We'll be right back. Tom Brennaman, Ron Pitts, and our entire Fox crew back at Philadelphia's Veterans Stadium. Terrific first half. 17-10 Redskins. Both these teams coming in at 2-3. Both coming off wins last week. And the Redskins are trying to win back-to-back games in the same season for the first time since '92. High formation. And they give us to Terry Allen. He's up close to midfield. I'll get ready for the biggest surprise of the new season. It's Al Bundy as you've never seen him before. Say amen to the Reverend Al on a brand new Married with Children. Tonight at 9 Eastern, 8 Central on Fox. Washington running game slow to get started after piling up 136 yards on the ground last week against Dallas. Allen is 8th carry. And again, not much room. It'll bring up 3rd and 5. Tackle made by Mamula, Gunn, and Govea. Well, our Aflac trivia question: which two quarterbacks were traded for each other? Redskins and Eagles swapping QBs back in 1964.
And don't say I've been given the answer ahead of time, because I wasn't last night.
That's just simply not true.
It is true. I'm telling you, you guys locked me out.
3 receivers check in for Norv Turner. Shepard, Westbrook, and Ellard on his 3rd and 4. Right. Depending on the spot, he finds Leslie Shepard, but the former Redskin, Barry Wilburn, met him immediately. He needed to get to the 44, just inside there. And let's see where they spot it. It's going to be very close, but he might be a bit short.
Yeah, and that's a mistake if he is on Shepard's part. He's got to know, and that's a 4th down, right? Shepard in, they're going to come down inside and run just a little drag right in front of the first down marker. The mistake is he's got to bend this thing back a little bit and get upfield. Good tackle by Wilbur, knowing where the first down marker is and driving him back.
Calvin Martin waits at his own 10 on this Matt Turk punt. And he'll let it sail. It drops. And then it's batted out of bounds at the 1 by Brian Mitchell. Is there anything Brian Mitchell cannot do?
We're going to get one of those.
Oh, wait a minute. They may say it went into the end zone. Well, Mitchell was there nonetheless. So they'll bring it out to the 20, apparently.
I'll tell you, the guy who really messed up on this deal is Morrison, 38. Morrison, 38, didn't know where the ball was. He could have got to it a lot easier than Mitchell could have.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Mitsubishi, the new thinking in automobiles.
Now back to action. Ricky Waters taking the pitch from Rodney Peete, and he picked up 3. It'll bring up 2nd down and 7 for the Eagles, trailing Washington 17-10.
You know, I keep thinking about this punt. What they said was that his foot, Mitchell's foot, was on the line as he hit the ball back out. Coming up right here. They're saying his foot is on that line.
Peete to throw. And now he'll keep it himself. Crosses the 30 out to the 35. Good enough for a Philadelphia first down. Patton on the tackle.
And we talked about the awareness he has coming from Detroit and using that run and shoot. I think that's an example of it right there. Seeing everything covered up and being used to taking off with the ball a little bit. And he makes a good play out of it right there.
11-yard gain by Peete. This one has gone back and forth. Philadelphia got a 55-yard touchdown run, adding to the 209 yards of offense for the Eagles. That got the scoring started. We've had a Mitchell punt return for a touchdown. Back to the ground. It's Garner. Flag in late on the play. He got it out to the 40 for a gain of nearly 5, but let's hold on a minute.
They could have a hold here.
You called it, Ron Pitts.
So you ask defensive linemen around the league, they say holding.
Holding, number 88, offense. 10-yard penalty, first down.
That's Jimmy Johnson, 88, the tight end.
Johnson, another former Redskin, and there are a few of those on this Philadelphia team. We talked about McKenzie and Johnson and Kurt Gouveia and Wilburn, among others.
And everybody's playing mind games trying to think, okay, they know me, so what are they going to try to do to me? And Kurt Gouveia was doing that yesterday. He's got his whole list of things that he knows the Redskins are going to try to do to him.
1st and 20. Pete throws, and Ken Harvey had him wrapped up around the leg. But apparently Pete able to get it away, and he doesn't take a sack.
And now Rodney bought himself one there, okay? He got away with one on that one. He wants to look right down the middle. There's nothing there. He comes back, and now Harvey's got him. And this, when you're a linebacker, Harvey is gonna. That should be down. That should be down. I mean, he's in the grasp right there. That should be a sack.
Ken Harvey, a Pro Bowler a season ago, became the first Redskin to lead the NFC in sacks when he had 13.5 of those.
Coming over.
And again, the play blown dead. Philadelphia having its problems the last 2 possessions offensively.
Ball start, number 62.
And they started too early this time. I think it was Guy McIntyre.
See here, this is where the self-destruction starts to start now for Philadelphia. The dumb mistakes deep in your own territory.
Well, the Eagles this season in the first quarter have been the best team in the NFL. They've outscored their opponents 34-3. It was 10-10 at the end of the first quarter today. But Washington a touchdown here in the second and a 7-point lead. 2nd and 25. Dump it off to Waters. And he brings it out to the 36. So to bring up a 3rd down and 9. Patton, the first man to meet him.
Well, that's a good example of using a guy. Waters right here, just going to leak out. And Pete is going to look downfield. If he doesn't see what he wants, under 3 seconds, he's dumping. And that's part of the timing. Look at the room he has because everybody's been stretched vertically up the field. You get the ball to a guy like this, that's an extended handoff. That's all it is. He catches that ball 2 yards in front of the line of scrimmage and runs for another 10, 15.
Gain of 16. It's 3rd and 9. Pete has a man across the middle. Kelvin Martin, first down, Philadelphia. So after facing a 2nd and 25, back-to-back pickups and big ones for the Eagles. First to Waters, and now 17 to Martin.
Martin's going to come down and work right into this area here. But the thing that caused this play to work, look at that right there. The traffic sucks up the linebackers. And that gives Rodney a window. He can see now, and vision is important. They got to be able to see downfield. And Rodney Pete, he's not a tall quarterback.
Pete is hit on 11 of 18.
Yeah.
Back to the ground. It's Waters. Oh, he slips through somehow and drags tacklers down to the 36. Thom Garner able to wrestle him down.
Ricky has been criticized for not having the vision, but I want you to watch the way he picks his holes in here. He doesn't have anything there. He looks back, and there a hole opens. A bad job of tackling. But this is the Ricky Waters that they brought here. This is what they want to see. And once again, I think the balance of being able to throw, but yet use him out of the backfield, get him the ball in different situations, really helps their game.
Doing that here today. Waters spins out of one tackle, then lost his footing. Down to the Washington 31-yard line.
That is a great move right there. Talk about a guy 6'1", 217 that's light on his feet like that. I mean, he's stopped behind the line of scrimmage for about a 3-yard loss, spins out and makes a play out of it.
Well, you see the total yards for Waters, 71. He comes in 5th in the league in total yards from scrimmage, 7th in rushing. So while it may not meet all the expectations, the numbers are still decent for Ricky Waters.
They are, absolutely.
On a 2nd and 5, juggled and then caught while falling down by Jimmy Johnson. Another Philadelphia first down to the Redskin 22.
Look at the replay here. Just a quick throw out to Johnson. Now, he doesn't get very far down the field. And this is just good concentration here. But his route is about a 2-yard route. The West Coast offense wants to get the ball to good receivers, talented people, and make them good athletes. Let them run with the ball. Let them use their ability there.
Beat again to the air. Broken up. And Calvin Williams looking for a flag, and now he has it. Carter came over the top of Williams. Calvin turned around and said, how about some help?
When you come over the top of a receiver, it's going to be tough to not get called for pass interference.
Number 25.
18 yards on the pass interference penalty. And it's 1st and goal at the 5.
Williams is going to work down inside here. I want you to watch Tom Carter. He's going to come down right over the top of him, right there. Anytime you come over the receiver's head and make him duck his head and bend down, you're going to get the call. He's got to try to come to the left or to the right with one hand. But if you come over the top, they're going to call you for it, whether you get ball or not.
McCrary and Garner in the backfield. The give is to Garner, and he's close to the 1. Well, Philadelphia had a hard time, to say the least, inside the red zone last week. Had to settle for 5 Gary Anderson field goals.
You know, Ray told me, he said, the thing is that we got to have an attitude down there. When I was in Frisco, hey, people stepped up. Jerry knew he could make a play. Brent Jones knew they could make. They wanted to. The confidence. He said, we got to have that kind of attitude here.
An impressive drive for the Eagles. Pete checks off on a 2nd and goal from the 2. Rolling right, looking to the end zone. Keeps it himself. And did he get in? Apparently not. Inside the 1.
I tell you what, Rodney Peete gave it up for the program there. He looked a lot like Randall Cunningham going up in that corner of the end zone. I've seen that before firsthand. Thank you very much.
Well, that's the difference between being 6'4" and 6 feet, and you get in on this play.
Now, he wants Barnett to come back to him. Barnett can't do it. He tries to jump over the top. See, Rodney didn't have the kind of long legs to make that play. You got to be able to get up in the air to make that.
See the story last week. 3rd and goal. The ball lost on the ground in the exchange between McKenzie and Pete. And now they'll have to uncover some bodies. Philadelphia has the football back, but shy of the goal line.
And the worst part about that, the line surge from the Philadelphia Eagles was outstanding. You're going to see the line of scrimmage completely move 2 yards forward.
Do you go if you're head coach Ray Rhodes? 4th and goal.
Watch the line surge. I want you to watch the way the line of scrimmage changes. Look at that. God McIntyre, he gets all the way into the end zone. They got an opening there. If he has that ball, he can get in.
Well, they're going. 4th down and goal, 17-10 Redskins. Garner trying to roll in. Touchdown, Eagles. What a game we have today here in Philadelphia.
They gave it to him on the 2nd effort. And Charlie Garner, this is the guy that Ray said we got to get the ball to more. Ricky's nice, but this guy is really nice. Watch the line surge underneath here. The first effort is stopped. He's stopped. That's Marcus Patton coming over the top. The rollover right there gets him the touchdown.
2nd rushing touchdown today by Garner, his 4th this season. And we are tied at 17. And this is the 121st meeting between the Eagles and Redskins. Told you earlier in the pregame show, Philadelphia's won the last 5 games.
Here's the replay again. Watch the surge here and here and here, but watch Patton right here. Watch the move he makes over the top, and he stops Garner for the play. He stopped right there, but the knee isn't down. He rolls over, and if Richard can come in there a count sooner, he'll keep him out. Boy, I tell you, we saw the stats as we look at Marcus Patton there. We saw the stats for Garner, 88 yards rushing with that big play, but that doesn't talk about what he's been able to do as far as getting down and scoring with the football. I mean, the guy has a nose for the end zone, and that's exactly what Ray Rhodes is talking about, having an attitude down there, that second effort.
Well, what a drive by Rodney Peete and the Eagles. Of course, a couple of penalties matched them back to a 2nd and 25 deep in their own territory. They convert on that first down on the pass play to Martin. The key play, a 17-yard pass interference call against Carter. It led to 1st and goal, and on 4th and less than a yard, Ray Rhodes gambles, and Garner gets in there for him to tie it up.
I think the Redskins defensively are confused right now. They see run with Waters, and like I said, the good Ricky Waters shows up today so far. And then they see the pass and the control passing game. You don't know what to defend.
Ryan Mitchell from his 5. Here we go again. And Mitchell out to midfield. What an absolutely remarkable player to watch is Brian Mitchell. 44 yards on that return.
Watch the way Mitchell takes off when he gets the ball, but he's not real full speed. He's under control. So now he can make cuts. He doesn't get the full speed until he accelerates to the hole right there. Now he's at full tilt. Boy, and Anderson, we might have to get Gary Anderson a neck roll after that one.
Well, Brian Mitchell last season set an NFL record for most combined punt and kickoff return yardage in a single season. He is on line to shatter the all-time single season record for most combined yards in a year. Farad to the air. And the pass caught by the fullback Mark Logan. He's to the 44, a gain of 6. Well, the answer to our Aflac trivia question. There you go, Ron Pitts. Norm Snead for Sonny Jurgensen. How about that trade? That was back in 1964. And Jurgensen, now a Washington Redskins radio announcer, went on to throw 179 of those in a Washington uniform. Farad again. And it's overthrown.
I tell you what, Sonny could put you in the burn trauma center at the end of the night. He put many of DBs in there.
Bobby Taylor against solid coverage. We have 2:17 to play in the second quarter. Redskins and the Eagles tied at 17.
But talking about Sonny and Gus Farad, he said the first day he saw Gus Farad, he said this is the guy we need to have started, without a doubt. He said, but I'm going to wring his neck if he makes any more dumb throws.
Well, a timeout is called down on the field before a Washington 3rd and 5.
Timeout. 40 seconds.
At the Philadelphia 44-yard line, and the Eagles spending a timeout. Gus Farad, it's not been an easy day so far. Farad is hit on 4 of 9 for just 53 yards. Well, next week it's exciting NFL doubleheader action when the 49ers take on the Colts and the Redskins battle the Cardinals, plus other exciting regional action. It all begins at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific. Check local listings for the game and time in your area. We will be in Arizona to see these same Redskins against Buddy Ryan's Cardinals, off to a very slow start.
Free agency has made this rivalry even better, and I'll tell you why. You got guys that used to be with one team, now they're on the other. You get the Goveas and guys like that. Now you know a little bit about each other, and it makes it even more intense.
3rd and 5. They run the ball to Brian Mitchell. And he has a first down to the 39. We mentioned earlier that Brian Mitchell this season averages nearly 10 yards a carry. Mike Mamula, we haven't called his name much today. The #1 pick out of Boston College. So we're down to the 2-minute warning in Philadelphia. The Eagles and the Redskins are tied at 17. Washington on the move, trying to break this tie. Along with Ron Pitts and our entire Fox crew, Thom Brennaman back at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. 1st and 10. Washington tied at 17. And the Redskins at the Philadelphia 40.
I think this Philadelphia defensive line that's been nicked up has done a pretty outstanding job thus far. You know, you got guys like Dixon who come in, didn't play ball at all last year. Sat out the whole year. Coming in as a starter, Harmon, we know he's nicked up.
Busted play, it looked like there. Allen was looking for the ball. Turned back around and looked at Gus Frerotte, who still had it.
Gus went back to the high school days there real quick like. I thought he's going to do a spin and come back around and reverse field and come back around the other way.
Well, you see the clock down to 1:37 for Frerotte and the Redskins. No gain on the play. Actually lost a yard, so it's 2nd and 11. And blown dead before they ever got it started. Play clock may have run out on the Redskins.
False start.
Nope.
Number 68, offense. Prior to the snap.
Started
5-yard
too
penalty.
soon.
2nd down.
So now with 1:28 left, a 2nd and 16 for the Redskins, and Norv Turner at the minimum would like to come away with 3 here and go into the locker room leading at halftime. Caught by Terry Allen out of the backfield, and he's back to the 39. Coming up on the Dockers halftime as the clock is stopped with 1:18 left. Washington spending a timeout. JB and the gang will catch you up on scores and highlights from around the NFL. That's all coming up on the Dockers halftime.
Well, the thing that Norv's got going for him right now, he's got timeouts left. He's got to make a conversion here. That's his big concern.
Well, 2 timeouts, as we told you, for each team left until the half.
You know, that's one thing that Gus Frerotte does do. He converts on 3rd downs. You know, whatever he has as a shortcoming as a guy coming in or a young quarterback, he makes plays when he has to make plays. That's what 3rd down conversion says to me. When we need to move the chains, get the ball down the field, he does it.
Well, Brian Mitchell coming onto the field. He'll check in as Terry Allen goes to the sideline. Big play for Washington. 3rd and 9. They also bring in an extra tight end, Coleman Bell. Here they come. Ball loose. Scramble for the football as Andy Harmon made the hit. And the Eagles have it.
I tell you what, Andy Harmon has been giving Big Trey Johnson his money's worth all day long. We saw him. He got the sack earlier in the 1st quarter. They're still fighting for the ball.
Danny Stubbs says, I have it. And lets everybody at the bottom of the pile know it.
Harmon right there. He ate him up. Did you see the way he swatted the hands? Trey Johnson got overextended. You can't do that with the swat move. Excellent move. Howie Long would have been proud of that one there.
Well, now Philadelphia thinking about a halftime lead. Plenty of time, 1:11 left. And the Eagles with 2 timeouts remaining from the Washington 49. Pete to throw. Dumps it off to Waters. And he's to the 41 before Marcus Patton is able to tackle him. Clock continuing to run. We're under a minute.
See, Ricky's got to understand what the situation here. He danced around a little bit there. Hey, get the ball, get your yards, get on the ground, and get back to the huddle. The clock's running.
2nd down and 2. Here comes Harvey. Pete escapes. Ball tipped and then caught by McCrary out of the backfield. He has not enough, it appears, for a 1st down. Maybe about a foot short. It was tipped at the line of scrimmage by Sterling Palmer into the waiting arms of McCrary.
Here's the blast play here. 97 Sterling Palmer is going to make the tip, but Harvey comes around the corner just to your left, right there. He can't get that left arm to make the sack, but right there, that's the tip. That's a good job. Harvey creates that whole play. He makes Pete have to step out his bounds, and good job right there, scooping that ball up.
One-handed fashion by McCrary.
but Harvey makes the play, though. He's not able to get that left arm under on the rip. And remember, like we said, he's not strong with his left hand getting around on the rip as he is with the right hand.
Well, they're going to bring the sticks out for a measurement. We mentioned it was very close. And it's good enough for a Philadelphia first down at the Washington 38. We're tied at 17, 39 seconds left until halftime. And Rodney Peete, a quick chat on the sideline with Ray Rhodes. They're getting the plays, of course, upstairs from John Gruden, the 31-year-old Philadelphia offensive coordinator.
The whiz kid. I think Pete has run this offense. There's Gruden right there. Very, very calm, cool guy. You know, he walks on the practice field yesterday in his Argyle sweater and just really relaxed, not worrying about too much.
Well, he spent the last 3 years under Mike Holmgren in Green Bay. Spent time with the 49ers despite his youth. First and 10 with 39 seconds left. Remarkable balance by Waters. He's going to get to the sideline and step out of bounds. What a gifted athlete.
I look at Ricky Waters at times, and I think I see Eric Dickerson and Walter Payton wrapped up in one. And I tell you what, on this play, he shows it. Just a little dump out of the backfield right in here, nothing big. But once again, it lets you use your athletes. Gets them in field, gets them in space, and that's what he can do to you in space. I mean, that's 3-4 missed tackles and the big stiff arm. Nice block there by Barnett.
17-yard gain to the Washington 21. This time they hand it to Waters. Slips through a couple of tackles inside the 5 and down to the 2.
You're going to get a timeout.
You asked which Ricky Waters would show up. We're seeing this most talented running back at his best today.
This is a $3.5 million Ricky Waters here.
Clock stops with 22 seconds left.
Right up in here, look at the lanes. This is what happens to you when you've had the passes thrown on you. You're not aware up front. They're not used to stepping up. Look at the twist, the turn, picking his way through traffic.
Looked like he broke a tackle from Stanley Richard.
Well, you just appreciate the skill this guy has, and it's a long time coming for him. And that's the best way for Morrison. That's the best way to tackle Ricky Waters right about now. He went for a nice ride. He ought to get charged for it.
Ron Len, the Redskin defensive coordinator, he came over with Norv Turner last season after spending a couple of years in Cincinnati, 5 seasons as a defensive coordinator in San Diego. But his defense has run into Ricky Waters today. Philadelphia 1 timeout remaining, 22 seconds left until halftime. We're tied at 17 and the Eagles at the Washington 2.
They still have a lot of flexibility, okay? Even though there's 22 seconds, they got a timeout. They can shut the clock down so they can work pretty much whatever they want to work here.
Fake to McCrary. Pete got back to the original line of scrimmage, and the Eagles are going to have to spend their final timeout. Although they haven't done it yet, clock still running under 10. And now Philadelphia will spend the timeout. 9 seconds left. I think Rodney Peete was saying I was asking for it long before that.
Yeah, he gets caught up in the traffic there, and everybody loses their. See, now Rodney's upset at itself. He had Ed West open, wide open in the end zone. But, you know, it's easy to sit up here and say what he had open. When those big guys are coming down on you, I think his best move would have been to throw it away.
I think, Jerry, not to interrupt, I wonder if Jerry Markbright was coming over to the sideline to say something to Ray Rhodes, if maybe they won't put some more time back on the clock here.
The rollout's going to go to your left. Ed West is going to come back into center down here in the end zone. Rodney doesn't see him. He's wide open at this point. Look at all the red jerseys there.
9 seconds left until halftime. Philadelphia has spent its final timeout.
Okay, so now they've got a problem as what they can do as far as getting the ball in the end zone. You know, I mean, you got no timeouts. Can't get a first down here.
Second and goal at the Washington 2. 9 ticks left. Here come the Redskins. Touchdown, Fred Barnett. A very different looking Philadelphia offense today than the team that could manage only 5 Gary Anderson field goals last week.
He's working on Robert Bailey right here. I want you to watch the move he gives him. And you see how Bailey turned his body, he turned his hips and jumped outside a little bit, just a little bit, put his weight on the outside and opened up the gate for the inside touchdown.
So Pete to Barnett with 6 seconds left in the half. Anderson tacks on the extra point. For Barnett, his 3rd touchdown of the season, and again Philadelphia's taken a 7-point lead.
See Rodney right now, he knows he's got him on the inside. That's the one place Robert Bailey cannot let the receiver down in this part of the field. You have no help inside. Protect your inside at all costs. Make him throw the big one to the corner. Make him throw that one.
Well, Ron, obviously the difference on that drive, Ricky Waters. 17 receiving yards, 19 rushing, and that marvelous play to get out of bounds, stopping the clock deep in Redskin territory.
I saw the Ricky of old. I saw the Ricky from the 49ers last year. A guy that they kept you off balance with because they got him the ball in space. But now, when it comes time to run, you've been so spread out from the pass, you don't know what to do.
Talk about a change of momentum, though. Let's go back to the play when Gus Frerotte fumbled the football. It looked like the Redskins would be leading at halftime.
Oh, well, this is a huge play here. You know, Gus is holding the ball. He gave the pump fake there. He's trying to go downtown to double move. But he's got to see people. He's got to see things. He's got to know that, you know, even though this line has given him protection, he's not in a rocking chair back there.
Now they're going to put it on the ground and try to keep it out of the hands of Brian Mitchell. Vanderbeek just running for the sidelines and was able to get there before the clock expired on the second quarter. A guy who likes to go skydiving, Vanderbeek. You know, you have that kind of courage, but you wonder about a guy like him wanting to carry the ball.
Yeah, well, I look at Vanderbeek and I see special teams written all over him for some reason. I don't know if it's the headband or the hair coming out the back of the helmet, the way he walks. He just says special teams. There's a headband, complete with the eye black.
You know, Washington will just have Frerotte take a knee, putting an end to what has been a wild first half here in Philadelphia. 24-17, the Eagles in front. So that is the end of the first half. Rodney Peete and the Eagles in front by a touchdown. Well, we're back at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. An NFC East clash today, the Redskins and the Eagles. And what a game so far. And just when you start the second half, here comes Brian Mitchell again.
Kick the ball 10 yards out of bounds and take your chances.
Well, Mitchell has never returned a kickoff for a touchdown. He has 6 punts, including one here today. But this time it's William Bell. And he does his best Mitchell impersonation. And he is run out of bounds in Eagle territory at the 47-yard line.
Toot that diesel. Wow. You know, I think everybody relaxed when they saw that Mitchell didn't get the ball, okay? But William Bell, he said, I got a surprise for you folks. Watch the truck right here. Man. He lays out Henderson. But see, Henderson's got to watch that in special teams films tomorrow. And they're going to run it back and forth and back and forth.
34-yard return there by Bell. Outstanding field position for the Redskins. At the Philadelphia 47 to the ground. And Terry Allen, not much room. Some of the numbers from the first half dominated statistically by the Eagles.
Yeah, right here, I think that speaks for itself, the way that offense is running. But the things that show you right here, 17, they're moving the ball down the field, and the time of possession, you know, that's not good for Gus Frerotte. He's getting cold. 18 minutes versus 11. They're keeping their offense completely shut down, keeping them cold.
Gain of 3 is 2nd and 7. Wide open, Logan in the flat. And he's banged out of bounds at the 30-yard line.
I think they stole the little West Coast now. Logan just shooting out to the flat real quick. There he is right there. He's just going to brace out to the flat, 3-step drop, let it fly. Nobody's out in that corner. They caught him in a man-to-man situation, and that's what happened.
1st and 10 for the Redskins at the Eagle 30. This is Terry Allen, and he is stopped immediately. Harmon, Romanowski, Govea all in on the tackle. And Andy Harmon, you brought his name up at halftime, Ron. He was inactive last week against New Orleans with a groin injury, questionable here today, and is giving an outstanding effort.
Well, you know, last year now, this guy had 9 sacks. There was some debate. That was number 3 in the NFL. That was some debate as to whether or not he should have been a Pro Bowl player. And I can see it now. Just ask Trey Johnson. And in all fairness to Johnson, Johnson is hurt. He's playing with that ankle, like we talked about. They might have to get him some help.
Frerotte fires. Very good coverage by Mark McMillan. The smallest player in the NFL, McMillan. At just 5'7", 148 pounds. He looks like the smallest guy on a good high school football team. But he's getting paid to play this game.
You know, they made a change now in the offensive line. We were talking about Trey Johnson, and I said get him some help. Well, yeah, that's a good way to get a guy help, get him out of there.
Bernice Smith.
And he's played well.
Sure has. He's made a couple of starts this season. They played him at center and moved Giesick over to right guard. But Smith in at right guard. Here comes a blitz. Frerotte dumps it off to Mitchell. And he's inside the 20 to the Philadelphia 14. 1st down, Redskins. Taylor a touchdown saving tackle.
Great job by Frerotte. He sees the blitz coming, so they check to what's called a hot read. Meaning we're going to throw it to the first available man, which is him right here. That's Mitchell. And all he wants to do is just get out. See, Frazier has the coverage. Frazier is fooled up front. Frazier's got to be back there.
Brian Mitchell has done it all here today. Mitchell and Waters putting on a clinic.
Special teams, offense, defense clinic, whatever you want to call it.
Back to the ground. Terry Allen inside the 5, down to the 1. Again, Taylor on the tackle. It'll be 1st and goal, Redskins, as Washington tries to tie it up on this opening possession of the 2nd half.
Watch the cutback. Watch the man-to-man blocking here. Allen's going to come here and then look for whatever seam daylight he can get and take it up in there hard. That's what he does good. And you wouldn't expect a guy that's got 2 knee surgeries, reconstructive, to get that kind of drive up in a hole like that, but he does. And that's why he's a plus for this team.
Howie Long giving the Allen story before the game, tries to go over the top and did not get in. The ball came loose, but they're saying that the ground caused the fumble. Romanowski, the first man to meet him, along with Mike Chilinsky, 3rd-year pro out of your alma mater, UCLA.
Watch the line surge. The white shirts, they get the lowest. That means the white shirts, the linebackers can come over the top and make the play, and that's exactly what Romanowski and the rest of the boys do.
2nd and goal. Bell in motion, pitch to Allen. Flag down. He did not get in. This may be holding against the Redskins. Let's see. Well, it's against Washington. Motion. And they'll back up Norv Turner's team. Last week, the Redskins got inside the Dallas red zone 3 times.
2nd down.
Came away with 3 touchdowns.
Well, that's the key. You come away with touchdowns. You know, yeah, if you can get a field goal, okay, but boy, when you go down in there and you score, that's what you call making the most of your opportunities. The motion right there. Jenkins was going toward the line of scrimmage as the ball was snapped, trying to get a head start on that block. You can't do that.
2nd and goal from the 6. Farad, lots of time, and missed a wide open tight end, James Jenkins.
Oh, he had Jenkins, and I tell you, you know what I thought of? I thought of that play down in Tampa Bay when he had Galbraith open, wide open, and didn't see him. That time he had Jenkins wide open. He tried to come back. That's Jenkins right down in there. He's in that traffic, and you see he's going to work back to the outside. Gus is going to see him at the last minute. See, he's working now. But that's a tough throw. That's a tough throw. Gus Farrad's got a good arm, but he doesn't have that kind of arm to make that throw.
3rd and goal. From the 6, Farad in trouble. Scramble. Oh, took a lick. And is belted by Zordich at the 2. And apparently Norv Turner debating over on the far side on what would be a 4th and goal for the Redskins.
I tell you what, I'm surprised Gus Farad got up after that hit.
Redskins are going to go for it.
Everybody's covered downfield, so Gus decides he's going to be the hero. You pay a price as a hero sometimes.
4th and goal at the 1. And now a timeout on the field. Philadelphia spending a timeout. Raced a lot of personnel onto the field right before that 4th down and goal. We'll have that when we come back.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by the all-new Ford Taurus, a look you've never seen from a name you know well. By Dockers Flat Front Khakis, proud makers of nice pants. And by IBM, solutions for a small planet.
Not much thinking involved here. 4th and goal from the 1. Redskins trailing by 7. And the crowd will tell you whether or not the Redskins punch it in. Farad runs it in. And the Redskins need the extra point to tie it at 24.
Beautiful call by Norv Turner. You're down there. You've been fighting it out in the trenches. We talked about this offensive line, and what do they come with? The play action. Everybody's going to lead up. Watch what Farad does with the ball. He tucks that thing to his chest. Nobody sees him. He doesn't need Bernice Smith out there. He's got him, but he doesn't need him.
So now Farad for the all-important point after. Murray straight through, and we're tied at 24. So the Redskins on their opening drive of the second half march down the field. A wild one here at the Vet. Back at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. NFC East football at its best here today. The Redskins and Eagles tied at 24.
Well, it doesn't get any better than this.
No, it doesn't.
Rock 'em, sock 'em. It's nasty. Fights after the whistle, all that good stuff.
Well, a great return, not by Mitchell, but by Bell. And the Redskins only had to go 47 yards, a real key play. Mitchell was involved on a 3rd and 9. 15-yard reception. Charlie Garner at the 5, across the 20, and he brings it out to the 31.
You know, I look at this offense, and we talked about in the beginning of this show how Pete had to be on time and how in 3 seconds the ball is out, it's gone. And look at the average. I mean, that's exactly where you want it to be. That's exactly where Ray Rhodes had Steve Young. That's exactly where they had their guys out there in San Francisco as far as running the offense. Like clockwork, precision, positioning, and timing.
And you see the numbers on Pete. Ricky Waters had a big first half. Ran into a wall, breaks away from tacklers out close to the 40. Right now, let's go to Hollywood or McDonald's game break and James Brown.
Tom, Ron Pitts will like this quarterback execution as well. Troy Aikman with time. 48 yards later, wide open. Michael Irvin, who beat the talented rookie Craig Newsome. Dallas on top, 24-10. Let's take you back to Tom and Ron.
Is JB trying to tell me something?
Well,
Do you think I was a good cover
you
guy?
to get back into the league again.
I tell you, I might. The free agency money going around there.
Gain of 8 by Waters. 2nd and 2 for Pete. Swings it out to Waters. Trying to lean for the first down, but a very good tackle made by the 13-year veteran Darrell Green.
Joe Panos there. Right guard out of Wisconsin. 300 pounds. You know, you talk about this West Coast offense and what it does to the... And that you talk about his name there. You pronounce it Zeus Panagitopoulos. Well, at 12 years old, he went to his parents and said, folks, can you help me out? I can't spell this in school. He said, okay, Joe Panos, how's that?
Waters on a 3rd and 2. Needed to get just beyond the 41 for a first down. And it's very close. Tony Woods, Marcus Patton, and on the stop you see Rodney Peete looking back to Ray Rhodes, and Pete thinks they might be about a foot short. And they are.
That's a big hold now for Washington coming out here. You got a tie game, and everybody talks about that first series being all important. And it's even more important in this game. You're locked up. You go and make all these adjustments. Well, everybody wants to believe their adjustments are the answer. And when you get stopped in the first series, you start to have second thoughts.
Brian Mitchell returned the punt 59 yards for a touchdown back in the first quarter. And the Eagles took a little too much time. They'll push him back. I don't know if that's a good move or not right about now. Mitchell was already standing in his own 20. And Brian Mitchell, you see all-time punt return touchdown leaders. Christensen with 8 along with Rick Upchurch, Mitchell, Johnson, and Dave Meggett, each at 6.
He's sandwiched in between 2 great ones, too. White Shoes and Upchurch. Woo.
Kicks it away, and Mitchell wants a fair catch at the 29. And that's where Gus Frerotte and the Redskin offense will put it in play, a 35-yard kick.
You know, with Mel Gray out of the NFC, yeah, it's a legal procedure or a legal formation on Philly. With Mel Gray out of this conference now, you got to believe that Mitchell is the man, without a doubt. You know, it's been close the last couple years, but when you got a guy like Mel Gray, you got to give it to him. He's just undeniably been the best in this conference. But I think Mitchell's going to finally get his shake at the Pro Bowl.
Illegal formation foul.
The Redskins are going to decline the penalty.
6 men on the line of scrimmage.
Pretty good field position starting at their own 29. So we'll take a break in the action to 7:50 to go in the third. Redskins and Eagles tied at 24. Philadelphia Eagle fans watching a good one here today at the Vet. Tied at 24, 7:50 to go in the third quarter. And the Washington offense, which pretty much had been stalled by this Philadelphia defense in the first half, went down the field 47 yards on their opening drive of the second half. Frerotte racing in for the game-tying touchdown. 1st and 10 from their own 30. Allen out of the backfield out to the 35, a gain of nearly 5. Well, strap yourself in because the wildest ride of them all is about to begin. See why the LA Times calls space above and beyond a rock'em sock'em sci-fi adventure. Catch a brand new episode tonight at 7 Eastern, 6 Central on Fox.
What has happened to Mike Mamula? He was tearing people up for a while there, but now, not in this game.
Allen, not much room. It'll bring up third down. Daniel Stubbs played a real good game here today. We mentioned the All-Pro William Fuller inactive for this one due to a hamstring injury suffered back against the Raiders, only in the game for one play last week against New Orleans.
Yeah, I think that the Redskins line has thought more about stopping Mamula. They've got Patton over there, and they've helped out with Brown, and that's why we haven't seen too much of Mamula, but they've also left the one-on-one situation over Harmon, and Harmon has taken advantage of it.
3rd and 5. Farad steps up, drills a pass, and it's good enough for the first down to the tight end, Coleman Bell.
Boy, great effort that time by Coleman Bell. He had trouble getting out of the formation, slips and falls, gets back up, and makes the play for the first down. That's just great awareness of the field, knowing where the first down marker is. How many times do we talk about that? Knowing where the marker is. Don't cut your route off short.
1st and 10 for the Redskins. 24 all. 6 minutes left to play in the third quarter. Play fake. Farad in trouble. Flag down. Intercepted by Greg Jackson. And he brings it back into Washington territory at the 47. But again, penalty flags down. Daniel Stubbs applying the pressure on Farad. And it's against Washington. So Philadelphia will take over on the interception.
Penalty is declined.
Jackson, a 19-yard return, and Norv Turner not too happy about that. So the Eagles a chance to break this 24-all tie when we return.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Dr. Pepper is just what the doctor ordered.
Philadelphia Art Museum. The steps, of course, climbed by Sylvester Stallone as Rocky Balboa. We have a fight here at Veterans Stadium. 24 all. 1st and 10 Eagles after the interception by Jackson. And Ricky Waters down to the 43. Here's a look at the pick.
Ray Brown's going to be right here. His man's going to loop all the way around, and that is where he's going to get the holding call. But the thing about this is that Farad makes a dumb throw here. There is no way Gus should make that throw. Gus got to understand what this is. It's 24-24. There's plenty of time left to win this game. You're not in a last-ditch situation. He can't make stupid throws like that.
2nd and 6 for Rodney Peete looking downfield. Now he'll just dump it off to McCrary. And he has the first down to the Washington 31. Stevens and Gaines on the tackle. Hey. 12-yard pickup. A late flag came in.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Number 93, defense. 15 yards.
Butte.
Well, Butte knows about the new rules. He knows how hard they are now. Whenever you touch that quarterback, the ball's gone, completely released. Boy, I tell you what, that's a suspect call. That's a suspect call. The fact that he took him to the ground, but yet he could have taken him down a lot harder than that. He didn't make an attempt to go around the head area, pull down on the head. I don't know, but that's a real cheesy call right there, if you ask me.
15 tacked on after the penalty. First down, Philadelphia at the Redskins 17. This is Charlie Garner. Touchdown. Charlie Garner electrifying this Veterans Stadium crowd, and now the Eagles lead 30-24. Owner Jeffrey Lurie thrilled about that.
And now you know why Ray Rhodes wants to get him involved more, because when he gets involved, he scores. Watch the right side of the line. I want you to watch the line blocking here, but a seam's going to open up right in there. Right there. Look at that. Guy McIntyre leading through. And once again, another poor angle taken by Stanley Richard coming down from the safety position.
Harry Anderson tacks on the extra point. Charlie Garner, 5 carries, 105 yards, and 3 touchdowns. That's a pretty good day. And the Eagles lead in the third, 31-24. Charlie Garner, his 3rd touchdown of the afternoon. It gives Philadelphia a 7-point lead over the Redskins. 4:40 to play here in the 3rd quarter. And they're looking at Garner's thumb. He had to leave the game earlier with an upset stomach. He's given Ron Lynn, the Redskins defensive coordinator, an upset belly. And they're going to stay away from Brian Mitchell, but they keep finding William Bell. 2nd time he's given them a good return, and the Philadelphia crowd doesn't like the strategy a whole lot.
Here's a look at the touchdown. I want you to watch the combination block right here of Brooks and Guy McIntyre. This springs this play. Brooks is going to get out right there on Marcus Patton, and right there, that's what it does. Now, Stanley Richard has got to make this tackle. I mean, it's done perfectly. That time, Darrell Green stayed outside. He's called the alley player. That's what Stanley Richard is called. He's coming down in the alley to make the tackle. He's got to do a better job of making a tackle. But in Stanley Richard's defense, Garner runs a 4.4. Not too many people know that he's that fast.
Allen cuts it back inside, crosses midfield to the Philadelphia 48. William Thomas coming down the line of scrimmage, able to make the tackle. Well, obviously turnovers and then points off turnovers have been a big equation in this game. Philadelphia's turned it over a couple of times. Washington getting 14 points. A couple of turnovers for the Redskins, leading to 10 Eagles points.
That's a great point, Tom, because turnovers mean absolutely nothing if you don't score off the turnover.
Well, we might see a flag there. Bobby Taylor covering Leslie Shepard, 2nd-year pro, returning where he played collegiately at Temple. And this game, presented by the authority of the National Football League, is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the expressed written consent of the Philadelphia Eagles and the National Football League is prohibited. Brian Mitchell has checked in on what will be a 3rd and 6. Behind the intended receiver, Henry Ellard, but a late flag on the field. McMillan hit the deck.
They're going to get a push off, but I don't know if they're going to get. Yeah, it's on the offense. That's on Ellard.
Well, you saw McMillan go down, perhaps a push.
Defensive pass interference, number 85. Penalty is declined. 4th down.
And it didn't take much of a push to get McMillan on the ground at 148 pounds, mind you, but you don't see that called very often. I mean, wide receivers have been pushing off for years, and you know I'm going to bring that point up and haven't been getting called for it.
Well, Ellard draws a flag. Penalty obviously declined on what would be a 4th and 6. And now Turk will punt. Kelvin Martin stands at his own 10. Angling for the sideline. Martin takes it at the 10. And broke a tackle and brings it out to the 20 before Brian Mitchell gets down the field to tackle. 38-yard punt, 10-yard return. We remind you, next week, don't miss America's favorite pregame show. Join Terry Bradshaw, Jimmy Johnson, Howie Long, and James Brown for a full hour of NFL information and entertainment beginning at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific.
Miss America likes the show, huh?
Yeah, but she likes watching the NFC East a little bit better. We have today here in Philadelphia.
I hate to think she would.
Well, here we go. Pete and the Eagles leading 31-24. 3:39 left in the third. Nearly intercepted by Carter.
Boy, and Carter's rear end has to be hurting. He gave up for the play. He made a great play coming down, squeezing on what they call the thin post, but landed all on Keister. He sees the thin post coming. It's going to throw real quick. He jumps it right now. Great play. He's going for the interception. But watch the way he lands. And his elbow took a shot too.
Carter has already been bothered by a hamstring injury this season. His alma mater Notre Dame pulling out a late win yesterday at Washington.
Now that means Turner's going to come in there depending on how long Carter stays out. Turner can expect to see some balls his way soon.
Keep an eye on Carter, who appears to be all right. 2nd and 10 for the Eagles. Pete had hit his last 9 passes until that near interception. And Waters caught from behind out to the 22 by Ken Harvey. And a flag late comes down onto the field. Jerry Markbright going to check it out.
Boy, that's a great play by Marcus Patton, the linebacker.
It'll be against Washington.
53 Marcus Patton. Watch the penetration he gets and watch what it does to the whole continuity of this play. Blam, he's got Guy McIntyre back on his heels. That shuts everything down.
Hands to the face. Number 97, defense. 5-yard penalty from the end of the run. Automatic first down.
Well, now that would have been a 3rd down and 9, but the penalty by Palmer gives Philadelphia an automatic first down.
Let's check out Palmer, 97. Here he is right there. The hands to the face. Yeah, it's a good call. Whew. Poor Ed West. He's going to have to go see a chiropractor after this game after that.
Beat on a 1st and 10 gives it to Charlie Garner. And he's tackled by Tony Woods along with help from Stevens after nearly a 5-yard gain. Charlie Garner on just 6 carries today is rushed for better than 100 yards. You may remember last season he had the back-to-back games, 111 against the Niners, 122 against Washington in his first 2 NFL starts. He was injured late in the season and now is split time in the backfield with Ricky Waters. First down for Waters. Penalty flag comes in.
You know what's great about that play, Tom, is that you could hear the defense call and draw out. Yet Waters still makes the yards.
But they're going to bring it back. It's going to be holding against Philadelphia.
That's one reason he made the yards. That helps you make the yards.
Holding number 72, offense. 10-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Our man Joe. Big Joe, they got you.
Well, Joe Panos started 5 games this season, only a couple last year, but still good enough to make the all-rookie team.
Now, I wonder what shape both of these lines, defensive and offensive, are going to be in by the 10th week of the season. And he's got a neck injury he had last week in New Orleans, so everybody's banged up somewhere.
2nd and 15. Off the hands of Ricky Waters.
Now for the first time, I'm going to switch the tables here. That call has got to go against Rodney. Rodney's got to make a better throw than that. You know, if Waters is going to make the catch, it was going to be a circus catch. There's no reason for Rodney to make that throw.
31-24, 2:07 left to play in the 3rd quarter.
I know it's not the style of this offense, but for both sides of the ball, we haven't seen too many deep balls thrown. I'm wondering, when are we going to see some of that? Somebody taking a shot deep once.
Waters in motion on a 3rd and 15. They get it to Garner, who loses a ball. Did he get it back? He reached back with the left arm, and the Redskins say they have the football, and they do. So another key turnover. Dexter Nottage falling on top of the ball to make the recovery, and Washington in business inside the Philadelphia 25.
Let's pick it up here. They're going to run a screen play. Nice developing play. Garner going to cut back. We can see right there Marcus Patton on the walk by puts an arm out and gets the ball.
Boy, Patton had a great game last week against Dallas. 17 tackles.
Yeah, you talk about two hard line linebackers, three really. Stevens, Patton, and Harvey.
Terry Allen, a short gain. Close to the 20. Tackle made by Greg Jackson, who made the interception, stalling the last Washington drive. Turnovers a big part of this ball game today.
Well, there it is. You know, the fumbles right there by the Eagles have led to points for the Redskins. And the best thing for the Eagles, they led to touchdowns, not just field goal, touchdowns.
Well, we could add some numbers to that. Through the hands of the intended receiver, the tight end James Jenkins. Good coverage by Michael Zordich. Boy, Zordich, an underrated player. Outstanding strong safety.
Well, you know, talking to Joe Vitt there, he's involved with the linebackers and the safeties with the Eagles. He says the best thing about Zordich is that I got a guy who can hit like a brick, but he can cover too. And with the way offenses are now, and the run and shoots and all that kind of stuff in the West Coast, you need guys that can cover back those yards hit.
3rd and 9. Farad dropped by Harmon. 3rd sack of Gus Farad here today. And going back to the first game of last season, the Redskin offensive line had only allowed 29 sacks.
Harmon's right over there now. They got him some new meat to work on in there. He's working on Smith, but still, he beats him. He beats him on the outside. And Smith has played well the last few weeks when he's asked to come in and play a lot of different positions. And that's hard. You know, Smith played center one game. He was at guard. It's hard to switch around.
47-yard field goal tried by Eddie Murray. His long this season, 46, and that's wide left. So after the turnover, the Redskins cannot cash in for the first time all day for points.
Let's check out the snap. Is it good? Looked a little high. The hold's perfect. Well, it's got to be agonizing for a kicker to watch your ball sail away from the uprights. Looked like he's discussing something with Rodriguez there, the special teams coach. It's good to have an excuse. You got to have one ready.
But you know what they say about excuses? Everybody has one. 7-point Philadelphia lead. Waters breaks it to the outside, sheds a couple of tackles, still on his feet to the Washington 37. Stanley Richard on the tackle, a 24-yard gain by Waters, who's having his best day as an Eagle.
The line is going to do the best they can to block man-to-man and open lanes, but it's going to be on Ricky after a while. He's got to decide which way to go with the football. And this is what he does an excellent job of. Watch the way he picks the lanes. Marcus Patton, see, he sees Patton commit, and there's the hole. Ricky Waters has gotten better the last couple weeks on vision. That was a knock on him. He wasn't seeing enough.
Ricky
Today
Waters,
he's seeing everything.
Yeah, for the first time.
And Ron Lynn doesn't like it.
Waters has rushed for better than 100 yards. First time he's done that since signing on in Philadelphia. 31-24 at the end of the third quarter. Fox NFL Sunday will continue after this message from your local Fox station. Ron Pitts back at the vet in Philadelphia. 31-24, Eagles in front. You know, we talked so much at the beginning of the game about the Washington ground attack. How about what Philadelphia's doing here today?
Man, it's that man right there that's been able to move the ball just like that.
Flags on the play. Waters shoved out of bounds inside the 25. Well, let's see if they're going to bring this one back. Darrell Green says so, but he's not wearing black and white. Philadelphia, both backs over 100 yards today. Waters 101 as it's holding against the Eagles, and Garner 110. But you brought it up, Ron.
Holding number 84, offense. 10-yard penalty, first down.
You know, you brought it up at the beginning of the game. A, which Ricky Waters is going to show up. B, the Eagles needed to run the football.
Absolutely. Here's a look at the hold on the play. This will be right down here at the bottom. Check it out. They got everything they want working. Martin loses leverage a little bit on Darrell Green, and see, he grabs him right there on the inside. Watch the right side of your screen. There it is, 84. See how he's got Darrell hooked? That's a good call, a good call. Because they've been bouncing this play out all day long.
10-yard penalty, first and 20. And they dump it off again to Waters. His 7th reception of the game. Stevens on the tackle. Right now, back to Hollywood. A McDonald's game break and James Brown.
Thom and Ron, take a look at nose guard Greg Craig and rack up the stacks on this play here. Breaks through, forces the fumble, sacks the quarterback, fumble recovery, and the touchdown. Carolina on top of Chicago by the score 20-17. Back to Thom and Ron.
Well, we saw Carolina in its opener.
Norv might need to give a call to his brother Ron and find out what's going on down there in Chicago.
Pete, short drop, fires a seed. It was jarred loose, incomplete. Williams in this West Coast offense, Ron, pitch, you brought it up earlier. The receivers will take their licks.
They got to take the hits. But what I saw from Washington, they came now down to that 8-man front. I didn't see too much of that in the first half. But we've had the big run, so Ron Lynn, the defensive coordinator, said, hey, forget this. I'm bringing a guy down, and you guys in the backfield in the secondary, you just got to make it stand up. That's the bet he's taking right now.
Big play here, a 3rd down and 11. Philadelphia at the Washington 40. The wide open receiver, Waters. He appears to be shy of the first down by maybe about a foot. Bailey and Carter on the tackle. And you got to believe Ray Rhodes will take a chance on a 4th down.
But the thing you're going to see here is all the linebackers drop back because they get pushed up the field. But Ricky Waters is going to have plenty of room out in here. That's smart by the Washington Redskins because look at the first down marker. It's right in there. They come up and make the tackle. Excellent defense. That's smart defense. Don't worry about the stuff behind the marker or in front of the marker. Worry about the stuff behind the marker and come up and make a play.
Well,
and that's what it gets for you.
Yep. The Eagles this season 2 of 5 on 4th down tries. Tough decision here for Rhodes. Do you take a 3-point try to go up by 10?
I think he's got to go for it because he's out of field goal range with Anderson a little bit. I mean, that's a long field goal.
Well, it would be about a 46, 47.
That's a long ways. And he's got a little bit of a wind coming this way, too.
4th down and less than a yard. I don't know. The pile pushed forward. Ricky Waters signaling first down.
If he got it on second effort, and I thought he did get that in that last little bit of push.
Still waiting.
Now see here, if you're a defensive player, you move that ball a little bit because those refs don't know where that ball is. Rodney Pete's down there inching that ball up. Watch the surge by the white shirts. The surge by the red shirts is pretty good too.
Yeah.
I tell you. The only thing that saves Pete there is he didn't have to go very far.
It is a Philadelphia first down. 13:05 left to go here at Veterans Stadium. 31-24, Eagles in front. Waters in motion, the give to Garner. And he crosses a 25 down to the 23. Again, let's go to JB in Hollywood.
All right, Thom and Ron, take a look at Green Bay coming back on Dallas. Brett Favre dropping back. Pocket collapses. He runs. Pump fakes 10 yards past the line of scrimmage, but it works as he dives in. 31-24 Dallas now. Let's take it back to Thom and Ron.
I guess the four teams got together and said, listen, we're going to keep everything close today. We're going to keep all the same scores.
Gain of 3, now a 2nd and 7. Again, it's Garner. Broke a tackle. Inside the 15, pushed out of bounds. And the Philadelphia ground game has been a huge story in this one, but it might be brought back. Penalty flag at the line of scrimmage. It's against Philadelphia. Garner and Waters each over 100 yards rushing today.
Tripping foul, tripping, a number 63 offense. 10-yard penalty, 2nd down.
That's on Raleigh McKenzie now. He's going to be in the center area. We're going to have to look hard for this one. He gets out, he tripped right there, right inside. Raleigh knew someone was going to get through the gap real fast. He said, well, I'll just give him the old soft shoe.
Well, the Philadelphia running game we talked about.
You know, that could be a big penalty now. You look where that ball is, you're certainly not in field goal range. But now you got 2nd and 17. You got to be thinking pass.
First time two Philadelphia running backs have rushed for over 100 yards in the same game since '78. Waters may have heard footsteps.
You know, I think Ricky knows that that's all him. And the first thing everybody thinks about when they see that is what happened in the opener here against Tampa Bay.
Well, you see Buffalo, your father's team, leading again after a big win on Monday night against Cleveland.
Eli will be in a good mood, hopefully.
3rd and 17. Pete with time. Throws a bullet that's caught by Kelvin Martin well short of the first down, but it may have brought him into field goal range.
Yeah.
Sending out Gary Anderson for what will be a 43, 42-yard field goal try.
And see, that's why Rodney's good for this. He's got that release. Good decision maker. You know, Rodney Pete's the kind of guy, he can see a lot of things, make his mind up, bam, get the ball out. And that's what they need. You know, talking to Steve Young last year in the offseason, he said that was the hardest thing for me. You know, I had to think. Now I don't have to think. It's 1, 2, 3, bam.
Anderson as good as gold. 43 yards. He nails it out. And Philadelphia, its largest lead of the game at 10, 34-24. A long way to go at the best.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Volkswagen. On the road of life, there are passengers and there are drivers. Drivers want it. By Wendy's Spicy Chicken Sandwich. Get it while it's hot. And by DirecTV. It's personalized TV.
Well, nothing like a Philly cheesesteak when you come to the city of brotherly love.
See, that's why you guys didn't want any dinner last night. That's why you ate fruit plates. You had one of those at lunch.
Had 2 of them. See the scoring by quarters. It adds up to a 10-point Philadelphia lead. This time they kick it away and in and out of the end zone. So a good boot that time by Gary Anderson, and Washington will take over from its own 20, trailing by 10.
Excuse me, Tom. That is the best way to shut down Brian Mitchell right there.
Well, we'll take a break. The Eagles in front by 10, 11:02 left. Well, we're back at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia, where Michael Westbrook, we have not called his name all day long without a catch, without a carry.
Yeah.
And they've used him in that role.
Yeah, I'm just wondering when is North Turner going to send one downtown? Redskins do that every now and then.
Farad comes out throwing, trailing by 10. And he finds the rookie Michael Westbrook. His first reception of the day came in with 16 on the year. And a flag down, personal foul.
Number 94 defense, 15-yard penalty, first down.
What a smart play there by Kevin Johnson.
Let's watch 94, Kevin Johnson. He'll be coming right in the inside there. And that's a valid call. I'll tell you why. He not only grabs Farad after the throw is made, but he takes him, wrenches him back, and throws him on his head.
Well, the only reason Johnson is in there is due to all the injuries along the Philadelphia defensive front that we talked about at the top of the broadcast.
Hey, if he was wrestling, he would have got 4 points for that one.
Johnson right back to the bench. He may not leave there. 15 yards after the completion to Westbrook. First and 10 at the Philadelphia 49. Carrying for the first time is Reggie Brooks, third-year back out of Notre Dame. First time we've seen him all season long and getting back to the Pitt's points at the start of the telecast.
We talked about that West Coast offense and execution and throwing the ball 3 seconds or less, and we showed the graphic. They have done that with Rodney Peete. Mitchell has hurt him in the special teams. That's been the biggest hit they've taken. As far as the Redskins are concerned, the formation, the 8-man front has not helped the run, and they have not gotten back into the game plan to dominate up front in the trenches.
Farad had his pass tipped as he let it fly. He had an eye on Henry Ellard. But it'll bring up third down for the Redskins. Ronnie Dixon, the man who got a hand on it. Ronnie Dixon was out of football last year. He was driving a truck. He's built like a truck.
The more you can do.
How about those numbers?
Who would have expected that from Philadelphia before this game?
Farad on a 3rd and 11 finds a receiver. Ellard inside the 25. Henry Ellard came in with 95 receptions as a Redskin, 90 of them for first downs, and he's done it again.
McMillan is going to kick himself when he goes home. He had a perfect knockout opportunity. Ellard's going to come down and go to what they call the 7 route, back to the sidelines. But watch McMillan, 29. He's sitting right there. He's got a perfect knockout. Oh, I mean, those are the kind of things you dream of as a cornerback. Ellard's back is turned. He's got a perfect opportunity to dislodge the ball.
Farad to the end zone. And incomplete. Little bumping Ellard and McMillan.
No, they tried to do the old pump and go on McMillan. McMillan said, I'm not having that. He shut that route down.
9:21 left in the game. Philadelphia in front 34-24. But the Redskins with Gus Farad at quarterback at the Eagles' 24-yard line.
The special teams, Brian Mitchell has kept them in this game. I don't care what anybody says. He has given them the spark, the points. He's done it in the offense. He's done it in the kickoff return, the punt return. He's done it everywhere.
2nd and 10. Brooks. Nowhere to run. Kurt Govea, the longtime Redskin. He owns a couple of Super Bowl rings in his days with Washington, and on the tackle, it'll bring up third down.
You know, going back to what I was saying earlier in the points about owning the trenches, well, they got out of their game plan when Philly kept this thing close. And so they weren't able to really hunker down, run that ball like they did last week against the Cowboys. So that's why you haven't seen the dominance up front like we've seen in the past.
3rd and 11. And now a timeout taken by Gus Farad. His first used here in the second half. So when we come back, Farad and the Skins face a 3rd and 11 trailing by 10. 34-24 at Veterans Stadium. The Eagles in front, 8:42 to go. Washington at the Philadelphia 24 facing a 3rd down and 11. Dumped off. First down. Brian Mitchell. Again.
Boy, I tell you, Gus took a page from the old West Coast that time. He's going to look downfield. This is the man he ends up throwing to on the little flat route. He doesn't see what he wants, steps up, good poise, knowing where your people are, knowing that if your guys are covered, you still got one man. That's key.
Delay to Mitchell, ran into his own man, and then greeted by a host of Eagles.
That time Stubbs in on the tackle. Mamula, who's been relatively quiet. I think that has a lot to do with Big Joe Patton on him. And Brown. Plus, they've been doing a lot of chipping on him. You know, talking to Ray, they said they've taken the fullbacks and chip blocked him, meaning that the fullback will just give him a little shoulder right before he goes out for a run to slow him down.
Second and goal for Rock to the corner of the end zone. Defended beautifully by the rookie Bobby Taylor. Westbrook, the intended receiver.
Boy, they say Bobby Taylor really needs to get himself into the pro game, that he was a bit uncoachable. Watch him at the line here. If you bump somebody, that's worth about a yard down the field. And that gives him the yard to catch up and make the play. Excellent timing. Excellent timing by Bobby Taylor.
And you see only 21, as Ron brought up earlier. He left with 1 year of eligibility remaining at Notre Dame.
Yeah, he's still got that 1 year. For maturity reasons, that's giving guys a lot of problems.
Third and goal. They just do get it off. Farad, great time. Back of the end zone, touchdown. What a reception by Ellard. How in the world did he come down with the football? Great coverage by McMillan. Ellard, his second touchdown reception of the afternoon.
Here it is coming right at you. Now, if you're McMillan, you see the ball. You know you're only 5'8", so you get up early and try to make a play. I think he got up a little bit too early. He can't control this right here. But they tell you, as a defensive back in this league, to keep your back hand on his back, your right hand on his shoulder at all times, so you can come back and make a play on a ball just like that.
Eddie Murray tacks on the extra point. So with 7:13 to play in the game, another battle. The Redskins and the Eagles, Philly in front by 3.
NFL Sunday is brought to you by Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Dr. Pepper is just what the doctor ordered.
Back in Philadelphia, 34-31 Eagles. Lots of time left. 7:13 to play. And what a drive put together by Gus Frerotte and the Redskins. Converting on 3 third-down plays. Third and long, no less.
What did we talk about earlier? He's great on third down. And that is the difference in a playmaker.
Eddie Murray kicks it away. At the 9, it's Garner. Looking for a crease, and he's dropped to the 25.
Here's a touchdown. Now watch the throw that Frerotte makes. He's got to loft it right here over the tight end and a defender. Great throw, but once again, we talked about McMillan. If you're going to go ahead and commit with that one hand, or with both hands, right here, see, you got to make sure you get it. And that's why they tell you to keep that upfield arm on the receiver's back, because if you miss it, you got a chance to pull him down. And if he can pull him down, Ellard doesn't make that catch.
First and 10. And the give is to Ricky Waters. He's to the 28. We'd like to remind you, Alien Nation is back in a world premiere motion picture event. Our government is secretly trying to create a new life form, but they may have unleashed a force so deadly that no one can survive. Don't miss Alien Nation Body and Soul on the Fox Tuesday night movie. Plenty of action here in Philadelphia. These two teams in a rivalry that dates back to 1934. Deep, under pressure, gets it away, and it's caught by Waters. First down and more.
You don't think timing is important? Rodney Peete holds this ball a fraction of a second longer, there's a good chance that he could get it intercepted or get a knockout shot on Waters. Waters, once again, that's all he's doing. Rodney's going to check downfield, 1, 2, 3, blam, I don't see what I want. There it goes. This is all Waters getting the first down. That's what you call getting your money's worth out of a guy. You know, he's starting to play up to that potential that he came here as.
Waters has rushed for over 100. He's caught 9 passes for 83 yards. Charlie Garner also over the 100-yard mark today. And he's to the 45.
Now, see, the problem here is, and this is the problem that Ron Lynn, the defensive coordinator for the Redskins, has had all day long. They start off with that little dump pass to Waters in the flat. So if you come with an 8-man front there, you're going to get killed because you don't have enough people in the perimeter. When they back off the 8-man front, now comes the run. And when you got 2 backs that are running like Waters and Garner are running, you got double trouble.
5:05 left. Back on the ground, and again it's Waters. And he's wrestled down by Dexter Nottage. We remind you at the end of the game, Ron and I will select the Miller Lite player of the game. That will not be easy today. You've had Brian Mitchell, a huge game. That man, Ricky Waters, 190 yards of offense.
Have we ever given this thing to 2 people?
Well, what about Charlie Garner or Rodney Peete?
Might be time for it. Speaking of time.
Well, the folks in Miller have a lot of money. So maybe we'll give away 4 or 5. 3rd down and 3.
Big 3rd and 3 here.
Here comes a blitz. Peete able to dump it off. Shy of the first down, it looks like. Tom Carter, a terrific tackle. And it looks like Philadelphia will have to punt.
Great tackle by Carter, but I want you to watch something. Here's Waters. Watch Ricky. He's not looking back at the football but when Peete throws it. If he sees that football, I think he can get himself in a position to make moves and get upfield and get the first down. I don't know whether he's tired or just wasn't expecting to be the man on that route.
Brian Mitchell stands at his own 10. He's returned 1 punt today for a touchdown. Can he do it again? He signals for a fair catch. Lost it, picked it up. Wow. And brings it out to the 13. Brian Mitchell talking to himself and now having a few words with McCreary. Well, next week it's exciting NFL doubleheader action here on Fox when the Eagles take on the Giants. Ron and I will be in Arizona, the Redskins and the Cardinals, plus other exciting regional action. It all begins at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific. Check local listings for the game and time in your area. Here we go, 3:28 left.
I tell you, if you can't find a Fox game next week, you're not on this planet. Well, there's plenty of them.
1st and 10 for Perrott and the Redskins. Fake one way, screen the other to Logan. And he's to the 19. Dove on the tackle. Washington, a field goal will tie. A touchdown gives them the lead.
Once again, Gus Perrott is in that old familiar situation. We saw it in Tampa. We saw it in Denver. He's got to come down the field. He's got to make all the right decisions. But he's got to understand he only has to get in field goal range to keep this game going.
Washington 2 timeouts plus the 2-minute warning. Caught. Coming back to get the football was Michael Westbrook.
He goes around Bobby Taylor and makes a spectacular catch. Oh, that's rookie on rookie right there. Watch the way Westbrook comes full circle around Bobby Taylor right here and finds the ball somehow. I don't know how Bobby Taylor couldn't see the ball. That ball could have easily been intercepted.
Westbrook has had a big year, only 2 catches here today. Clock at 2:39, and Perrott dumps it off to Terry Allen. Flag on the play, and he's out to the 47, but this might come back. Romanowski on the tackle. And let's see. Waiting word from Jerry McBride.
Boy, I tell you, don't think that Ray Rhodes and his crew didn't work the officials before the game. They say, hey, these people move Dallas like that. There's something up. Watch the holding.
Pass interference, number 20, offense. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Gonna be a little pick there.
Yeah.
Bringing up Terry Allen by Mark Logan.
I'm surprised at the holding calls we've seen today. There's Allen there. Right inside there on the linebacker, on the tight end.
So Logan, the man in motion after being whistled for the penalty. It moves the Redskins back to the 20. Far side, catch is made, and again, when you need a first down, you look no further than Henry Ellard.
I can't tell you how long Henry Ellard has been running this route. He's going to come down, mess around in here, and work out to the corner. That's what it's all about. And Bobby Taylor is young. He hasn't seen enough of these routes in this league to know that that's where he's going. Taylor's got all kind of help inside. He's got to figure that's the only place he can throw that far down the field.
First down, Redskins. Blitz coming. Farrat fires close to midfield. Catch is made by Scott Galbert. And the clock running at 2:15. Again, the Redskins have a 2-minute warning and a pair of timeouts to work with. They trail by 3.
Yeah, that's a good point you make, Tom, because he got 2. And I know Gus knows he's got 2. So he doesn't have to put everything toward the outside to get out of bounds and do that kind of stuff to stop the clock. He can work the middle of the field.
Well, that man, Eddie Murray, could tie this one up shortly. Thom, Brennaman, Ron Pitts, our entire Fox crew back at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. 34-31, Eagles in front, but Norv Turner's team with the football. Right at midfield, and Eddie Murray, whose long this season is 46. He missed from 47 earlier today, is standing hoping for a chance to tie this one up. 2nd and 4 for the Redskins. Farrat had a man dropped by Galbraith. On the coverage, the safety Mike Zordich.
Man-to-man that time by Zordich coming down the tight end. We talked about that earlier. That's the thing that Ray Rhodes wants to see in his secondary. He doesn't want 2 big stiff safeties back there. He wants guys that can come up and hit and guys that can cover as well.
3rd down and 4. All right. Complete. First down. Who else? Henry Ellard to the Eagle 40. Clock rolling at 1:45. The Eagles lead by 3. Farrat gets him to the line of scrimmage. Washington, 2 timeouts left. And Mitchell couldn't hang on. Not sure he would have picked up much ground anyway. William Thomas was right there with him. So the clock stops with 1:30 left.
Now, see, the hard part, I think, is over for Gus Farrat and the Redskins offense because they've moved the ball this far. They just have to get in field goal range. They still have the timeouts left. They need about another 10 to 15 yards to make it sure, okay, to be in safety land, as I say, in the safe zone.
Well, they started this drive at their own 14.
But they're not quite there yet.
No,
exactly. They're not there yet.
2nd and 10. 1:30 left. Farrat, far side, catch is made. And trying to get out of bounds was Leslie Shepard. He didn't. The clock continues to roll.
Might have to burn one. They got to burn one.
So the Redskins spend a timeout with 1:17 remaining. And Washington has 1 timeout left. Well, right now, if they can't convert on 3rd down, with the ball at the Philadelphia 32, it would be roughly a 50-yard field goal try for Eddie Murray, and that is out of his range, quite frankly, right about now.
Exactly. And you don't want it to come down to that. Of course, it may, as we look at Rodney Peete there, but that's not what they want. And they can still, once again, they can still work the field. They've got a timeout.
Well, we'd like to remind you that following the conclusion of this game, we'll have the NASDAQ stock market post-game report. JB the gang back in Hollywood with all the scores and highlights around the NFL.
Now, I think if you're Philly, I think you got to play to defend the touchdown. Okay, but the dilemma is don't play so much that you leave a lot of room inside, and now, you know, they can get an easy field goal on. You want to make that field goal a hard field goal.
3rd and 2, I formation for the Redskins. Play fake. Farrak steps up.
What a play.
Defended beautifully again. Bobby Taylor, the rookie out of Notre Dame, bats it down. A 4th and 2, decision time for Norv Turner.
There's Bobby right there. He's holding the ball too long. Look at Bobby. He's gone. He's on the break. He's on the break before the ball's in the air. Now, you see the way he took that left hand and he draped it around Gulber's shoulder, so if he misses, he can still make a tackle.
Well, Norv Turner realizes that this is out of Eddie Murray range. A 4th down and 2 at the Philadelphia 32, and the Eagles late getting personnel on the field have to spend a timeout.
That goes in the favor of Norv Turner. The screw up on the Eagles side will help him because now he's got an extra few seconds to think this one over good. And really, it may have been in the Redskins' advantage to go ahead and snap that ball when they saw the confusion. That was smart, though, from the guys on the field for the Eagles to call that timeout because they were really, really confused.
Well, for those of you joining us from around the country, Philadelphia 34-31 lead with 1:13 left. Washington facing a 4th and 2 at the Eagles' 32-yard line. And Norv Turner is elected to go on 4th and 2. Perhaps a little out of the range of his field goal kicker Eddie Murray at this point. I'm Thom Brennaman along with Ron Pitts. And what a battle we've had here today.
Well, Murray pushed one now down at the other end of the field earlier today, okay? And I think that was at his range, a little at the edge of his range, so he doesn't want to do that. But then again, this is the game for all intents and purposes.
Well, Eddie Murray, the longest of his career, 54 yards, but you have to go all the way back to 83. 4th and 2. Blitz coming. Farrak. First down, flag comes in late. The reception made by Leslie Shepard, the second-year pro out of Temple. But again, a flag came down.
Oh, my God.
And Jerry Markbright, our referee, will fill us in what's going on. 1:09 left. Redskins are saying this is against Philadelphia.
We had pass interference on the defense. The penalty is declined. First down.
The blitz is going to come. That's what Gus is going to see. He's got to unload it quick. He's working right now to Goldberg, and Frazier's on him, and good call. There it is. Excellent call. Good shot by our crew there, getting that one. That's excellent.
1st and 10 at the 29. Farrak to the end zone, and it's slightly overthrown. He had an eye again on Leslie Shepard.
Gus cannot make throws like that. He had that ball in the air. His man wasn't even open. He didn't even see the ball come off his hand. I'm surprised it wasn't intercepted. He's got to be careful down in this area of making decisions like that.
Farrak today is hit on 20 of 38 for 235 yards. A couple of touchdown throws to Henry Ellard. He's been intercepted once. And Eddie Murray waits for a chance to perhaps tie the game. 2nd and 10. Farrak has it batted down. It looked like William Thomas, number 51, came in to get a hand on the Farrak pass. 3rd down and 10 for the Redskins.
Boy, that's become the new trend in the last 4 or 5 years. If you can't get to the passer, Thomas right there, 51, get your hands up. He has no chance of getting in, but look at that.
The Redskins at 2-3, coming off a shocking win over Dallas last week at RFK. The Eagles at 2-3. This is for sole possession of second place in the East behind the Cowboys. Farrat in trouble and wisely throws it away. And he was able to get the pass off before the arms of Mamula and Harmon wrapped him up. So now Murray on the try for a game-tying field goal. Murray missed from 47 yards early in the game. He did connect on a 36-yard try. Gus Farrat.
Now this ball's going to have some distance to go. So if I'm a Philadelphia Eagle, I'm thinking of getting my hands up because it's got to come out low.
46-yard try out of a hold of Gus Farrat to tie the game. And it is good. The game is tied at 34. Eddie Murray, who beat Washington with 19 seconds left last season wearing a Philadelphia uniform, comes back a year later for the Redskins and has tied it up against Philadelphia.
I can't say that he had extra room. He didn't have any extra room. That thing took paint off the crossbar, I guarantee you. Check it out. He gets good height. That's the key. I don't see it. They did not rush the kick. The Eagles did not rush it, but look at this here. Whew. Well, they won't be able to use that ball anymore today because it's got a yellow streak on the outside of it.
And how about Norv Turner? During his tenure, the Redskins came in at 5-16, and they have led in the second half in 15 of those 21 games. They've been tied or ahead in the fourth quarter in 12 of those games. So Norv has seen more than his fair share of heartbreaking losses, but his team has rallied back down 10 here in the fourth.
What I don't understand, a 46-yard field goal, you're not going to rush it inside? Did you see the way that thing took off to the right and came back in?
Little draw.
But why don't you rush it? A 46-yarder, he's already missed one today. I think you got to have penetration inside to get your hands on it.
Now, Philadelphia does have some time. 52 seconds left. And this is Charlie Garner. And he brings it to the 31. Clock stops, 45 seconds left. And now Rodney Peete with a couple of timeouts to work with. Actually now one. He has spent 2 so far. The Eagle defense took one a moment ago. Well, we mentioned that the last 5 meetings between these two teams have come down to the final minute of the game, and today no different. Waters smothered from behind by Dexter Nottage. Clock running at 34.
Ray Rhodes, people are going to really get upset with him because he's not going to take a shot downtown.
Throws, wide open receiver is Calvin Williams at midfield. And Philadelphia spends its final timeout. 18 seconds left, tied at 34. And one of the best kickers in NFL history is Gary Anderson.
Yeah, and Tom, like I'm saying, folks are going to get on Ray Rhodes' case a little bit because he's not going to take that big home run shot, but why should he? He's got an offense that has gone up and down the field methodically with those kind of passes right there. Yeah, he knows what kind of time he's got, but that's what they got to keep into. They got to stay into that frame.
Well, we talked about the last 5 meetings between these two teams, all won by the Eagles. Go back to 92, twice in 93, and then last season, Heath Schuler had a pass intercepted at the Eagles 5 in the first meeting. Eddie Murray then kicking for the Eagles, beat the Redskins with 19 seconds left in a 2-point decision. This is the first Washington-Philadelphia game for Ray Rhodes.
Yeah, I think Ray's got to take one shot down deep in the field goal range here. He's got to, without a doubt. And whether that goes away from the character of his offensive style or not, but they got to try it. Looking at John Gruden there, the offensive coordinator. Boy, you think they aren't tense right now?
Philadelphia out of timeouts. Peete bides some time. And the pass is incomplete. Clock stops with 11 seconds left. What a day for Rodney Peete. 26 of 38, 218 yards and a touchdown.
I don't think there's a quarterback controversy here anymore, without a doubt.
Well, you brought it up earlier, Ron Pitch. You thought that Rodney Peete was better for this system than Randall Cunningham.
And it's only by design of what he's been through. You know, he's been through systems that have required for him to think like he's got to think in this offense. Quick decisions, quick passes.
Ball at midfield, tied at 34. Peete to the far side, nearly intercepted by Darrell Green. It would have been his 39th wearing a Redskin uniform, and that's the all-time franchise lead. And now Green can't get to his feet.
Darrell Green gave it up for the Washington Redskins right here. He's got to make this play. He comes up, almost had the interception. Comes down on that shoulder. Boy, excellent play.
Now the Redskin medical staff have to look at Green.
You can listen to him talking to him.
My legs are on. Sit up, stand up, sit up. Come on, Miss Green, baby boy. Oh, don't give me a hand here, will you? Mark left. Ready. Take all the time you need. Get this little nut out of here, y'all. Come here, Otto. Take all the time you need now, G. Bring up.
Oh, warrior is Darrell Green, our Fox
Boy, that's
audio crew.
outstanding audio. That is the best you will ever see right there.
Well, you heard him at the end kind of laughing.
Yeah, he was laughing with McMillan. McMillan, get out of here. Tell you, you want to know what it feels like to be hurt? That's what goes on. The trainer's taking their time with him. You ready to get up? Are you ready? No, not yet. Laughs it all.
Well, Darrell Green has had what will more than likely be a Hall of Fame career for these Washington Redskins.
Well, I tell you, that's just another example of some of the great work we've had today from our crew. Bill Brown, our producer, Billy McCoy, our director, down there in the truck, doing an excellent job, giving us some great shots.
3rd and 10, the ball at midfield, tied at 34, and Peete lets it fly deep for the end zone. Intercepted in the end zone by Stanley Richard. And the clock has expired. We head for overtime in Philadelphia. Norv Turner and the Redskins rallied from a 10-point deficit here in the final quarter to tie this game at 34. And for Ray Rhodes, he's trying to get his team back to the 500 mark, coming in at 2-3. So at the end of regulation, Ron Pitts, who would have thought we'd have this many points?
I can't help but think right now, when I think about Washington, I got to think about Mitchell. You got to think about special teams. You think about Mitchell and you think about Murray, the kickers, without a doubt, because those are the areas that have kept this team in this game.
Well, we will have the coin toss to determine who gets the football to begin the overtime.
That's the head. That's the tail. Call it in the air, please. Heads is the call. Let it go. It is heads. Redskins win. You want the football. Kick that way.
So Brian Mitchell will take the field, awaiting the kickoff from Gary Anderson that will start overtime at the Vet. Don't you dare turn the dial. Thom Brennaman, Ron Pitts, our entire Fox crew back in Philadelphia. We're at the end of regulation, getting set to start overtime. The Eagles and Redskins even at 34, and Washington will get the football.
You want to talk about what training camp is for? This is one of the things right here that training camp is for. We look at the rules there. 2 timeouts per team. That's probably one of the biggest differences. We got only 2 timeouts.
And obviously the first team to score goes home a winner.
Goes home. But, you know, training camp, this is where you'll learn the little nuances that keep you from making the mental mistakes in this part of the game. Everybody's tired. All right, you're sore. It's been a long one. You know, this is when you have the mental breakdowns. A guy forgets to go here for a coverage, blocks the wrong man there, runs the wrong route. And if you're not in training camp, it's hard to work on those things and really hone those skills.
Well, Brian Mitchell has been the most dangerous man wearing a Washington Redskins uniform here today. He's returned a punt 59 yards for a touchdown. He has the 2 longest kickoff returns in the NFC this season, 59 and 56 yards respectively. He's returned a pair of kickoffs today for 86 yards. And you see our overtime fact. A team that has won the coin toss, well, 58%. That's better than 50-50, my friend.
At 8%, huh?
I doubt very much if Gary Anderson has that on his mind right now as he's preparing to kick to Mitchell. And very quietly, William Bell, late in the game as they try to stay away from Mitchell, has delivered a couple of big returns. Now Mitchell will not get a chance to bring this one out, as Anderson got a full leg into that kick. Gus Farad is hit on 20 of 39, 234 yards. A couple of touchdown throws to Henry Ellard. He's been intercepted once, sacked 3 times.
Nice job, Ron. Nice job.
Gus can come down the field the way he came down the field last series. No problem. No big deal.
I think it's one thing, Ron, they love about Farad in Washington. They were down 10 here in the 4th quarter. He brings them back, sending it to overtime.
Yeah. But look for some changes defensively from the Eagles. They're not going to let him go down as easily as he went last time.
Farad comes out throwing, dumps it off to Terry Allen. He breaks the tackle of Gouveia and gains nearly 7. And Gouveia was able to slow him down and trip him up.
You know, talking to Gouveia last night, that's the thing he said. All of a sudden, you know, the last 5-6 years, the middle linebacker position has changed. I got to cover people now. It used to be that I could sit inside, tighten up my chin strap, put my neck roll on, and take on the run, a la Matt Millen. He said it's not like that anymore. They got me running around, doing all this crazy stuff. Woo!
Gain of 7, 2nd down and 3. And Terry Allen plows his way across the 30 for a Washington first down. Again, Gouveia, the first man to meet him.
So, you know, we talked about the Washington Redskins line, and the game is coming full circle right now. The dominance should be reinstated right here on this drive. I see it looks as though defensively Philly was a little bit tired. They look a little worn up front. This is when you get those 300-pounders. Giesick, Johnson, and Johnson's not in, but Smith, Brown laying on you, making you even more tired.
Eagles showing blitz. They come with Zordich. Redskins pick it up. Flag down. Far side overthrown to the intended receiver, Henry Ellard. And they'll move back to the Redskins.
Come on, Jerry.
We've seen that already.
Illegal motion, number 21, offense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Whenever you get that illegal motion on a back like this, most of the time it's because he's going toward the line of scrimmage. And that's, of course, illegal. There he is, 21, Allen. No, that's not what that is. He's moving. He is going toward the line of scrimmage. He's just a little early on the snap.
Second down and 15 for Gus Farad. And way off the mark.
Boy, it's a good thing McMillan is 5'8" for Gus Farad's sake. Because if he's 6'3", he might have that ball.
Well, after the penalty, that was actually a 1st and 15. Now it's 2nd and 15 for the Redskins. We are in overtime at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. These two teams coming in at 2 and 3. The winner takes over sole possession behind Dallas for 2nd place in the NFC East. Gus Farad drove his team down the field for a game-tying field goal by Eddie Murray in the final minute. And now on 2nd and 15. Farad steps up, drills the pass, complete to Leslie Shepard. Flag down. More than likely a face mask penalty. Going to be called against the former Redskin, Barry Wilburn.
As you said, Tom, there's another former Redskin.
Personal foul. 15-yard face mask. On number 45, defense. 15 yards from the end of the play. First down.
That's a huge one. That's huge. Shepard, there he is right there. He's going to drag all the way across. Watch Wilburn very carefully. He's going to get face mask all the way. There he is. He's got it. And see the fact that he yanks that around. Oh, he pulled his helmet off his head. Well, I guess that's one reason you don't tighten your chin strap too tight, just in case you get face masked. Well, you always worry about when a guy gets his neck run like that.
Philadelphia has been socked with 11 penalties today for 105 yards. 1st and 10 for the Redskins. Brian Mitchell.
And see, that's a big penalty. I mean, that's a huge penalty. Because look where that ball is now. Suddenly, you are 15, 20 yards away from being in field goal range and possibly ending this thing if you're the Washington Redskins. All because of a face mask, an intentional face mask.
We're thanking our crew earlier on. Also like to say the same to our statistician, Dick Bossing, and our spotter, the counselor, Terry Keene. With us in the booth here at Veterans Stadium, where we are in overtime. 12:30 left to go. Washington on the move. From the Philadelphia 45, Farad. Great protection. And he just threw that ball away. Defensed beautifully again by Mark McMillan.
He keeps messing around with McMillan. McMillan's a player out there in that corner now. He may be only 5'8", 148. And that's soaking wet at 99% humidity. He's a gamer.
Eddie Murray tied the game for the Redskins at 34 in the final minute of regulation. Will he get a chance to win it in overtime? 3rd down and 7 for Washington. Need to get to the Philadelphia 38. Westbrook couldn't get it. Bobby Taylor on the coverage.
Boy, they worked on the rookie, worked on him. Rookie on rookie, actually. Just a quick little slant in. Watch Bobby Taylor come up and make the play. No false steps there. If he trips, has a false step, he doesn't make the play. It's a first down. This has been a big come-around game for Bobby Taylor. He's had a lot of question marks over his head. Got his start last week, and what the coaches like is how he hung in there even when he got beat. And it's paying off for him today.
Calvin Martin waiting at his own 10 on this Matt Turk punt. Angling near the sideline. And let's see where they spot it. He may have pinned him inside the 10. Yes, at the 9. 36-yard boot, but placed inside the 10-yard line. You see the Bears rally to beat Carolina. Tampa Bay goes to 4-2, beating Cincinnati. Minnesota behind Robert Smith off to a good start.
That's one of your Buckeyes there.
Buckeyes put a hurting on Penn State yesterday. And Jacksonville. Boy, the Steelers having all kinds of problems, mainly due to injury. So now the first possession for the Eagles in the overtime. They give us to Waters. Broke a couple of tackles and dove ahead for maybe 2 yards.
I noticed Washington snuck down an 8-man front now. Keith Taylor, he came down there and got down with the linebackers. And this part of the field, they're going to go ahead and take their chances there because Philadelphia has not shown any deep balls. We're waiting for that to happen. That's not the character of this offense, but it is in the playbook.
Ricky Waters, 19 carries, 108 yards. He's caught 11 passes for 90 yards. The reception made by the tight end, Ed West, but right there to wrap him up. Middle linebacker Rod Stevens. It'll bring up 3rd down for Philadelphia. If you're just joining us, Waters and Charlie Garner have each gone over the 100-yard mark in rushing today. No play bigger for the Eagles than this 3rd and 4. First down, reception made by Ed West out to the 26.
Isn't it amazing in a West Coast offense how everybody forgets about the tight end? That could have been Brent Jones right there easily. The toolbox tight end, there he is. He's just going to sneak down inside. And look, everybody forgets about him. They're so worried about the rest of the people out in the route, they forget about a big, slow tight end who happens to catch the ball and get a first down on it.
1st and 10, Philadelphia. 10:27 to play in the overtime. And back to the ground with Waters. He's across the 35. Ricky Waters over 200 yards of offense today. And we've seen today why the Eagles signed him as a free agent from San Francisco.
Yeah, absolutely right. He is showing what he is. You know, they sneak up right here. That's the safety Taylor in an 8-man front. But watch the blocking. Watch the way Ricky finds his way through traffic. A missed tackle. Taylor actually picks the wrong hole. And Waters has proven to people what he said he was going to prove back after game 1.
2nd and less than a yard. That may be good enough for the first down. They had to get just across the 36. And depending on the spot of the ball, they may have to measure, and they will.
There's been so many heartbreaks for this Philadelphia Eagle team up front in the offensive line. They got that. You know, Ray talked to us yesterday about Lester Holmes being lost with the injury and Bernard Williams gone. You know, 2 first-round picks last year in the offensive line. They've had to shift some people around. Anton Davis was actually demoted because of his play, but when Holmes goes down, they got to bring Anton back. And Anton, he's played well today. He's really stepped his game up.
1st and 10 for Pete. And Ricky Waters dragging would-be tacklers along the way, crossing the 40 out to the 43. Look at those numbers for Ricky Waters. By far his best day in a Philadelphia Eagle uniform.
Now there's Ron Lynn. How does he stop him? He's tried the 8-man front, but once again, the problem when he goes to that 8-man front, now they go back to what the pure West Coast offense is. 4 people out in the route. That kills an 8-man front.
2nd down. This time they give it to Charlie Garner. And maybe got a couple of yards. Keith Taylor up to make the stop. It'll bring up a 3rd and 3 for Philadelphia. 8:27 to go in the overtime. The Redskins and Eagles tied at 34. Garner today has rushed for 119 yards and 3 touchdowns.
I just get the feeling that all in all, the Redskins have been off balance all day with this offense. Just the play calling from Rhodes and Gruden have really done a good job of mixing it up and spreading it around.
Martin in motion. Pete, a short drop. Philadelphia first down across midfield to Fred Barnett.
See, this goes back to what we're saying. I mean, how often can we say this? This offense works best on a 3-step drop, get it out in 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3, bam. The defense simply can't react fast enough to make the play. And it looks small, like only 4 yards here, 5 yards there, but you know, you mix that in with a big run by a Waters or Gardner, and that's why it was so important for him to play today. It's a hard offense to stop.
Pete has hit on 3 of 3 in the overtime. Waters back to the ground. And he's to the Washington 47.
As they move in now and hold on and start to work on the other side of the 50, somebody on the Eagles sideline has to tell Waters and Garner, watch the football, hold on to the football. Somebody's got to tell the Redskin defense, start grabbing at the football.
Under 7 minutes, 10th play of this Philadelphia drive. Batted down at the line of scrimmage. And it appeared as though number 93, Mark Boutte, the man able to knock it down. So now it brings up a 3rd and 8 for the Eagles.
This is a big 3rd and 8 here. You know, the little dump stuff is going to be harder on him now. Unless Rodney sees it inside quick, the flare, they'll have a chance to break up on the flare. And you'll probably see the Redskin defense sit just beyond that yard marker, that first down marker, and be aggressive on the tackle.
Feed on 3rd and 8. Looks downfield. Oh, caught by Fred Barnett. He went up in the air with Darrell Green, and Barnett able to wrestle it in at the Washington 31. 16-yard pickup.
Barnett is just looking for a window. He's looking for Windows 95. The only problem is he's got to get up and get this ball. It's a high ball. It's a great throw by Rodney Peete.
1st and 10 Eagles at the Washington 31. 6 minutes left in the overtime. Waters stays in bounds, cuts it back inside to the 20.
I don't think I'm going to get hurt, dude.
Ricky Waters, a 2-time Pro Bowler, having an enormous game.
I want you to watch right here. Guy McIntyre, watch the block he's going to get on the outside here. That's going to be key. Right there. That gets the whole thing done, because now Stevens coming down as a middle linebacker. He's got to deepen his angle. By the time he deepens, Waters has an extra 2 or 3 yards around the corner.
Waters' his 25th carry of the afternoon. He has 139 yards rushing. Mentioned a little earlier, Ron, 11 receptions for 90 yards.
You know, the guy has done what we said he needed to do. He needed to show up in the Ricky Waters that everybody expects, or the Ricky Waters everybody wants to see.
Well, now Philadelphia going to spend a timeout. 4:58 left in the overtime. They face a 2nd and 8. And it appears as though they're calling on Gary Anderson right now to try and put this game on ice.
That last play was just the center of the ball up. That's all that was.
Gary Anderson today has hit 2 of 2, including a 43-yarder. And that is his long for the season.
I think that's a great decision by Ray Rhodes. If you're in your guy's range, which you definitely are for Gary Anderson, why mess around? Kick the ball, go home.
And in case you should flub the snap for the hold, it'll give you another try.
You got another try.
Ball spotted at the 25, 35-yard field goal attempt. Philadelphia has beaten Washington 37-34 here in Philadelphia. NFC East football is back again.
We talked about this rivalry. We talked about how some of the guys, Ray Brown said yesterday, the guys on their team didn't really understand the rivalry, the young guys. They had to explain it to them. Well, now they know.
This is without question the biggest win in the very young head coaching career of Ray Rhodes. Our Miller Lite player of the game, can there be anybody else? Ricky Waters. The numbers absolutely staggering today for the free agent from San Francisco.
The snap, the hold, it's all good. So is that part of it right there.
Philadelphia in overtime beats Washington 37-34. We'll be right back.